Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Not true, B. That's not fair.
Welcome to the ultimate Cleveland sports show. We may have news about the backup quarterback or the starting quarterback for the Browns sometime before we leave the air today. The Browns players are talking in just a little bit here.
Yeah.
We'll react to it when we hear what they say.
I doubt they'll say anything about Watson.
I doubt it, but they might glean a little bit of information.
And somebody might slip up. You never know.
Stefanski talks after we're off the air, but we're going to talk about his comments on overtime.
So today would be a good day to become a member.
$4.99.
For $4.99 a month, the top tier, the coaches tier, because you'll get our instant reactions. Stefanski can talk at 1. We're going to go back on 104, 105, whatever it is, and we'll instantly react.
Right.
So you might want, today might be the day.
Today's the day to drop the
plop down that
$4.99 for the month. I know
yes.
you've got something and you've got something. First, quickly, show business. We'll talk backup quarterback. What makes Kyle Shanahan so special? Once upon a time, he was Tyvis's head coach. We'll find out from Tyvis. What is it with this guy? Why is he so good? Lomas Brown is here to talk about offensive line woes. Is this something you can fix halfway through the season? If so, how do you do it? He's a Hall of Fame football player.
Not Hall of Fame.
I think Lomas is in the Hall of Fame.
Not in the NFL Hall of Fame, no.
Wow, I thought he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Let's double check that, but I don't think so.
I thought he was. Also, true
I made
or
his
false?
bio the other day. He's an All-Pro.
Yeah, but check the Hall
All-Pro.
of Fame. I could have swore he was in, but maybe not. Yeah. If he's not, that's a miss. He should be. True or false, I get to defend my belt against Tyvis. Tyvis thinks he's coming for me.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing. You have something today before we start, and
now,
so does G. Bush, I believe.
We know.
I do too.
Whoa.
It's about you.
Round the horn.
Would we all agree that generally there's a lot of stupid people out there?
There are people that are challenged from a mental capacity standpoint.
So the other day, my son, my wife, and I are playing.
Why you worded it like that?
I just don't like calling someone stupid.
All right.
Politically correct.
Yeah.
No, I just don't like calling someone stupid.
All right, intelligently challenged.
There you go.
We were playing the board game version of Family Feud.
Okay.
Oh, I love that game.
Okay, here's a card.
Okay.
All right.
Love it.
So we're playing Family Feud. When we play Family Feud, my son likes to be Steve Harvey.
Okay. So he's the host.
He says he's Steve Harvey. He does the whole thing as Steve. He walks out. He does what Steve Harvey does. He does Steve Harvey. If you watch him, he always does this. Comes out. Welcome to Family Feud. I'm your man, Steve Harvey, and he does a clap.
Yeah.
My son does that. Does the whole impression of Steve Harvey.
Up the black.
He does
Fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. So we're playing this game, right?
Yeah.
And we get this question: name a food you would eat even if you had no teeth. Okay. Right there. Name yes.
Mashed potatoes.
Applesauce.
Applesauce is, there's 5 answers. Applesauce, believe it or not, is not on this list, but it was a good answer.
Mashed potatoes.
No, that's not on the list. Also a good answer.
Soup.
Soup is number 4.
Banana.
Banana's not on the list.
Bad list.
All right, but it's people that.
Well, they ask 100 people.
But
we've surveyed 100 people.
4 of these answers are reasonable. Ice cream. Pudding.
Yeah.
Soup. And then oatmeal.
Okay. All good.
Look at the number 3 answer on this. Can we get a close-up of this card? Look at the number 3 answer that people picked. Can we see it or no? Look at that.
Steak?
How dumb?
I get
steak,
it.
you have no teeth.
I get it.
How are you supposed to? What are you, gumming a steak?
That's ridiculous.
Gumming
a steak? That's just ridiculous.
Here's the reason.
They say we've surveyed 100 people. The top 5 answers are on the board.
Yeah.
What they don't say is where the hell these 100 people came from.
Well, I mean, if you eat it, you can. Well, you can't necessarily. You can take the flavor off of it.
You can't eat steak if you have no teeth.
Listen. You
just can't do it. Or you're swallowing them in chunks.
Wait a minute. You not eat it, but you can get a taste for it.
Okay, that's
you
not.
You can lick it, I guess.
Yeah, you can like take this.
But I don't know how you're going to eat it.
You got an answer for that, G?
I need y'all to calm down first and foremost. Second of all,
it tastes like butter.
What they saying is, what's something that is so good to you that even though it may cause you to choke or it may be very difficult to eat.
Question.
No.
I didn't hear that, G. You're loading up the question.
No.
It says,
It was top 5
Other
things
side.
people with no teeth
name
can eat.
a food you would eat even if you had no teeth.
Oh, yeah, I got it. I got it.
Like they like steak
You
so
would
much.
eat.
Okay, I guess.
I still would eat it.
Yeah, so those people
Yeah.
looked at it in a different way. That's interesting.
You know, it's
It's all about interpretation.
it's like you get it. You like
You swallow. You're risking your life.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
You could
it's that
choke
good
at
to
any-
you,
But you know what? I love steak so much.
Right. That's what I'm
Even
gonna
though
get
I
to.
have no teeth, I am going to eat it.
One quick follow-up on that. I was in a restaurant the other day that I really like. I'm not going to say the name of the place. It's a place I found recently.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it's a very small
You don't want to
chain.
share the...
Is it
No, because of what I'm
it might
about
be,
to say.
it might be trash.
The food is
tomorrow.
excellent.
Okay.
Is it the crispy chicken?
But there was
However-
But there was a person working behind the counter who was missing some teeth.
Okay.
And it kind of made me not want to get the food. Is that wrong?
No, I don't know how that would. I don't know how that would impact their food prep skills.
No, and I did get it, and it still was great as it always is.
So
but
a
I was
lesson
a
learned.
little grossed out.
I can understand. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
It would turn me off.
Right?
I'd be like,
Yeah.
I almost left.
Can you get somebody else over
Is
here?
it a forward-facing kitchen, like a kitchen that we all can
Yes,
see? Yeah,
it's
so
like a
they might wanna
conveyor
invest-
belt type of thing.
They may want to invest in a curtain.
The ultimate.
I'm just saying, maybe.
The ultimate, like you said, curtain dog. The ultimate Cleveland sports show has now become bourgeoisie. I am apologizing. I am from the trenches. If you don't have no teeth or 3 teeth, I will still come patronize your shop
I
as long
did,
as the
G.
food is
I
good.
did.
And it was good.
Gee,
you
you
have
can't-
something.
Gee,
We got to
you
hurry.
have to.
I don't got. I already have that. I don't know why.
Oh, I thought
You
so.
gotta admit that if you go in there to order something and you see somebody with no teeth, it's like,
Yeah, I don't
It's a
want my
little
waiter
gross.
or waitress
Right.
coming at me with no
It's
teeth.
all. Listen, is it all or none with you? Can you just be missing some, or do you got to have all of them?
no.
or none of them?
If you missing some, that's cool because life happens.
I don't know.
She
Like,
wasn't missing them all, but there was enough.
was it? What is it?
If it was one, I'd be like, one.
Was it a bad ratio?
Maybe she plays hockey.
Was it a bad ratio? Like she had 3 missing up top,
Oh,
and
my
then just
goodness.
some joints
I was
on the
trying
bottom?
not to look that
Here's
closely.
the key.
You can't help.
Were the front chiclets gone?
There was some gone. Yeah.
Okay, now that might be an issue.
What do you mean some?
She
That's
put
just
their
dirt.
he put their tongue
Because
through
those
it.
are the two that, like, when you start brushing, like,
Yeah.
I remember when my kids started brushing their teeth, and we would look at them and say, smile. You know, my daughter was great.
Yeah.
Corey, I'm
Yeah.
all done.
Yeah, right,
and then
right.
his breath would smell like toothpaste, so we'd tuck him into bed and be like, he did it.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, wait a minute, he was in there 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Corey, smile. And there'd be tartar all on the
All
back
over.
teeth.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like, no, that's
Yeah.
not how we do this.
Well,
Right.
you know what? Hopefully I get a chance to see Corey because I'm gonna be in Rutgers for the Big Ten tailgate show this week.
Oh my
yeah, you
gosh!
guys should get
Well,
together.
listen, I'll have him stop by and say hi.
tell him look there.
Corey's a
Oh,
big
man.
Tyvis Powell fan.
Yeah,
I mean,
he-
he loves the show. He really does. He watches every day.
Well, he texted us
He
yesterday.
texted
about
yesterday
the
saying
intro.
all-time classic open to the show.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Well,
he
I need to just tell him.
Speaking of which, my pedicure,
how did
amazing.
It go? How did it go?
Amazing.
First one ever?
No, it was like the second or third.
Okay.
But the other times I had done it for my wedding and like
Right.
you know with my a friend who's a woman and whatever. But this is the first time I ever went by myself. It was a great. I don't know why men can't like. What makes it a female thing?
I will
There's
tell
nothing
you,
female about it.
It's pampering that men typically don't
Well, they
undergo.
should.
He up
But I'm
there
going to tell you
moving his
something.
toes.
I said yesterday on the show that I went once,
Yeah.
dragging, kicking, and screaming
Yeah.
with my wife and daughter, and I sat between them. And the entire time, I was sitting there going, oh my God, this is just unbelievable.
Oh my
This is unbelievable. And I've never gone back, and I think it's because the stigma.
It's a stigma, and I'm breaking the stigma.
Break the stigma.
In fact, I went for a haircut
funny.
yesterday too. And the
It looks
girl,
good. Nice.
Thank
nice,
you.
yeah, good
The girl
look.
who cuts my hair, Jen. She's awesome. I've been going to her
Are you going to
almost
Best
the
Cuts?
entire time I've been living in
Is
Cleveland.
that best cuts?
No, she owns her own place.
Oh, okay.
Look at that line. I mean, that's good
Sure,
work.
sure.
What is wrong with
That's good work.
Steve,
That's
man?
almost Jerome Bettis type line.
G knows Jen, who cuts
know.
my hair. We
Shout
did
out to
we
them.
did an episode of his show
Yeah, sure
at
did.
her
At the
place.
barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Jen
a
and
cut-
Annabella.
You got a cut by her?
No.
Oh, does she cut African American hair?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I can't find out though.
I can ask her.
I wouldn't find out.
You don't want to be the guinea pig.
I can ask her. But anyway, I told her that I went for this, and she was like, real men do that stuff.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
It's not frowned upon.
It's not.
No, it's not frowned upon, but there is a stigma.
I'm telling you.
Like, I think if I was to go, before I actually walked in, I'd look around.
That's what I do.
Make sure that
There was only three other people.
That's what I do.
There was only three other people in the store. The girl doing it for me, her name was Singh. She's from Cambodia, and she was awesome. With a capital A, baby.
The only time you don't have to look around is if you're going in with your significant other. That's like if I have to go into like the beauty store, like Ulta or something like that.
Yeah.
If I'm with my wife, I just walk in. But if it's like me going in there, like, you know,
I can't go in there.
See what I'm saying?
Why can't you go in there? You're going with me next time.
Because
I'm taking you with
a
me.
beauty supplies company.
I know that.
He do.
That's why he can't go.
That's why I thought you would appreciate it, of all people.
My wife is Asian, and she says, I will do that for you if you need it done. You will not
What if I pay for you, just so you can go with me? Will she let you do it?
Wait, we got a rotator cuff injury behind the glass.
Sorry,
Mikey's wrapping
We do have a little Deshaun
sorry.
Watson news. So
well, let's get to it.
We'll get to it, and we'll get to our first topic in one sec. Before I read you the news, let's tell you about Behind the Glass tonight. 7 o'clock, myself, Earl, Anthony will be breaking down the latest from Kevin Stefanski on Deshaun Watson, looking ahead to the San Francisco game, talking a little behind-the-scenes stories and much, much more. Mary Kay just tweeted out that when the Browns sent out their media release, they said select players would speak today. Deshaun Watson typically speaks on Wednesday. He will not speak to the media today, according to Mary Kay Cabot. Quote, if he practices, it will be limited. So we'll find out more throughout the morning.
Another nugget of information leading us to he's not playing.
He ain't playing. And you're not talking because you blew it last week, so we just know.
And boy, you know what? That really puts Andrew Berry in a tough spot.
Because he said that he was.
He said a week ago tomorrow.
No, today, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, today is Wednesday. I've lost track of the day. He said a week ago today that, he's playing against San Francisco. We can't play that soundbite, never mind.
But listen, I got a way around that today.
What's that?
For the Kyle Shanahan
stuff. I heard we do. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that when we get there. We got to start with the Browns quarterbacks, though. Let's, for the sake of this discussion right here, let's pretend Deshaun Watson is unable to go against San Francisco, so they'll have to play either DTR or PJ Walker.
Right.
Of those two, which quarterback gives the Browns the better chance to beat the 49ers?
That's tough.
Anybody really strong on this? Like one way or another, it's definitively
PJ Walker. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because I was screaming from the top of the hills, you better get you a veteran quarterback, and you see how quickly they switched that up. You have no time for quarterbacks to be figuring it out on the job training. This is not the Job Corps, Peace Corps, whatever. This is not an internship. Cleveland Browns got a defense over there that is a top 3 to 5 defense with guys over there that are trying to get to the playoffs. So when they came out, that was a stopgap right there. Like, if Deshaun ain't trending and playing, we need somebody that can at least make the regular reads, at least understand. It's a cover 2. They try to run a cover 1 robber on me. I already know what it was. I read the defense, or at least he'll be decisive and definitive. DTR can use us like this in plays, but DTR would be hesitating, running option.
It's not like PJ's a seasoned vet, though.
You know what's interesting about PJ Walker?
What's that?
You know I played with him when I was with the Colts.
Did you really? You don't even remember it, do you?
No, I do remember it, actually.
Okay.
He actually was a solid guy. Really good guy. Got in there, really could command the offense. I mean, obviously, we got to see what he did with Carolina last year after Baker. My only thing about
those numbers are not pretty.
No, not at all. But my only thing about him
11 picks.
or about anybody that between the two quarterbacks is that it all depends on what Kevin Stefanski does with the game plan. That ultimately comes down because obviously last week I think the DTR thing was unfair because I don't feel like we got to see really him because it wasn't his. And he'll come in and say, "I prepare myself to be the starter, so I'm always ready." Like that's knowing that you going in the game and being the starter, you prepare totally different than you thinking as a backup. So it's hard for me to say if he's good or not. G says that he missed a ton of throws. It was people wide open, and he just kept missing it.
But he didn't even look at him.
My point. But it's like when you go in there, you not confident in the game plan and not confident in your ability, you looking for one person and one person only, and that's probably Amari Cooper because that's the only guy you trust. And I just feel like it wasn't fair for him to go in there and get thrown in that fire like that. Now, I'm not saying he should be the starter. I definitely think with San Francisco coming in there, you don't want to throw him in there in San Francisco and let him just completely, because he's already down right now from last week before. You throw him in there with the Wolves with San Francisco, he might jump off the edge. So you need to keep his confidence up a little bit and let P.J. Walker go in there that got some experience, that at least can know how to call an audible out of stuff, or at least can recognize coverage or recognize, okay, they're running cover 2, this is where I'm supposed to go with the ball, instead of just being locked in on one guy, and if he's not there, taking off running.
So 2 for PJ, definitive PJs. Bull, where are you?
I would stick with DTR, and here's why. First of all, if they don't, but either way, this whole situation is a real indictment on the Browns' ability to realize what talent they have. Like their ability to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Evaluate talent.
Recognize, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Recognize talent. Because they traded, my brain is like fried at the moment.
Josh Dobbs.
They traded Josh Dobbs, thank you. Okay. They traded Josh Dobbs. None of us thought twice about it because
we didn't.
He's Josh Dobbs, whatever.
And because DTR looked so good in the meaningless preseason.
Yeah, the meaningless preseason.
Before you continue, we not only didn't bat an eye when they traded Josh Dobbs, we celebrated the fact that
right.
they had drafted a quarterback in the 5th round who had severely outplayed a veteran to earn the
That's
quarterback
right.
2 spot.
Now, some people were more excited about it than others, but I didn't really care because I was like, well, Josh Dobbs is nothing with nothing. I still think he's not nothing with nothing. And P.J. Walker's thrown roughly the same amount of passes that Josh Dobbs has in his NFL career, and had thrown more coming into the season, obviously. But if you're going to bench DTR after one game where he was not properly prepared and had very little time to get ready, as opposed to having they have 2 weeks here to get him ready. 2 weeks. P.J. Walker, yes, he's a veteran in comparison. He stinks. He's not any good. Yes, he stole Baker Mayfield's job last year because he played like 2 decent games, and maybe he'd be a little better. I just can't imagine he's any better that you wouldn't want to stick with a guy you drafted. And you said we could trade this guy to Arizona for a meaningless, probably 5th-round pick because we're confident in this guy. Yeah. That's what you did. When you traded Josh Dobbs, you said he's not that good, and this guy's better than Josh Dobbs. And now after one game where he wasn't prepared in a tricky spot where he had to throw a ton, you're going to say, well, we're done with that. We're going to go with a guy who's shown nothing in his little NFL career.
Do you think, let me ask you this. This is actually, it's open to the floor. Do you think it would mess DTR's mental up more if they start P.J. Walker? Or do you think it'll mess him up more if he goes out against San Fran and gets absolutely killed?
No, because he just watched Dak Prescott go out and get absolutely killed against that same defense.
So you think it'll be...
And for that reason, I'm with you.
Yes.
Here's what we're doing here. And you said you've got a headache because the Browns have an inability to recognize talent.
Right.
Once again, the Browns have mismanaged an off-field situation.
Yes.
They mismanaged dramatically the Baker Mayfield situation. He's gone. Now, I told the joke yesterday, what do you tell a guy that's got 2 black eyes? Nothing. He didn't listen the first 2 times. Here we go again. When it was first, and I believe that it was first an issue for Deshaun Watson on the Sunday of the Tennessee game. He knew what he was dealing with that day. Here's what you do. We're now, moving forward, preparing DTR as if he's the starter next week. Here's why. Deshaun Watson's good to go. He's a veteran. If he has to miss a couple of days of practice, you feel okay putting him in there to be the starting quarterback. However, if you prepare the whole week as if he's going to be your starter, and then at 11 o'clock Sunday morning he says, oops, can't go, now where are you? You have to put a rookie quarterback on an NFL field for his first ever start against a guy on the other sideline who's playing chess with a middle linebacker that we wish we had.
So, pro Fred.
So if you want to talk about the timeline of this whole thing, it begins on the Sunday of the injury.
That's 100% true. The Browns, as coaching staff and GM, have completely mismanaged this situation, both in, as you like to say, in the macro and the micro. I think.
I agree
They've
with
screwed
that.
it up on both of those.
And Bull, furthermore, I'll take it to the next step. So I thought they should have started getting DTR ready right away. Now, I didn't know what the injury was. We didn't even know about it till Wednesday. They did.
Right, knowing what you know now.
So here's what you say. Our safety net is Deshaun Watson. If he can play, great. He doesn't need the day-to-day preparation. He's a pro. He's been through this. He's a veteran. Which of the two, if forced into duty, needs every day of practice?
Yeah,
That's
right.
how you prepare. You prepare for the worst-case scenario, and if it gets better from there, you're better equipped to deal with it. Secondly, they put him out there, unprepared, mistake. That's his first impression to NFL fans. So now the fan base, which loved him, is like, oh, this guy isn't it.
Right.
And now they're knee-jerking, and now they're saying, we're not going to put him out there. They've had 2 weeks now, which could have been 3 weeks to get him ready. And instead, it's not like P.J. Walker is Josh Dobbs, because I thought they mismanaged that situation too.
And by the way, I don't think they're not winning this game with Josh Dobbs, P.J. Walker,
they're not.
anyone.
You're right. However, and you said this properly at the time.
It's a slight chance.
None of the fans were screaming when we traded Josh
Nobody.
Dobbs. That's not our job.
Yeah.
It's the Browns'
That's
job
right.
to make sure
It is.
If the starting quarterback goes down, our season isn't a complete wash.
Right.
I'm not saying Josh Dobbs would have beat San Francisco. However, he gives us a better chance than P.J. Walker and DTR.
Yes.
So now they're telling DTR, you're not it. We're going to sit you down for a guy, P.J. Walker, that no one has heard of, played in the XFL, and has thrown 5 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. I heard of further develop DTR.
That's right. Let him
give
play.
Give him the reps. Throw him out there and give him the reps.
Let him play, because your chances of winning the game without Deshaun Watson are negligible.
You're right.
Even if you agreed that because he's a veteran, it gave you a pinch, a 0.01% chance better. Who cares?
Right.
I'd rather develop the other guy
I would too.
in a long shot situation anyway.
Get him his reps.
And you should have been preparing him for 2 weeks now.
I could go back. Listen, I can go back way further than this. I can go way back, way back. Listen, this is not the first. Way back in time. This is not the first time. This is not the first time this jumped off. I can give you 10 different episodes of where they handled it even worse up to this point. You cut Odell Beckham in the middle of the year, right? You get nothing for him. Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry stopped talking to the organization. Baker Mayfield in his doggone shoulder. Kareem Hunt in his contract. Deshaun Watson in the first 11 games, you punted on the season, did D tackles and receivers. You come back this year, you mismanaged. One coach says he was cleared to play. The GM comes back the next week and says, I guarantee he's going to play. And then you get rid of the backup in Josh Dobbs, send him somewhere for a 5th-round pick, like 5th-round picks count for something. Your track record is horrible, receiver.
DTR was a 5th-round pick.
Hey, well, listen. Anthony Schwartz was a 3rd-round pick.
I'd much rather have Dobbs, and they can keep the 5th-round pick.
Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant.
As you continue to see this stuff matriculate
and
keep working,
Anthony Schwartz was the 3rd-round pick.
I listen. I don't think all of those things you said are completely fair to kill the organization, but certainly some of them are.
All of them are.
I mean, the Kareem Hunt contract, every team has to do it.
Individually, I think what G's saying is individually.
If you add them up, yes.
Maybe not. But this is what I've been talking about for a number of years now. And the fan base, God bless you, they're still voting Haslam as the best owner in Cleveland sports. Hey, that's what you want.
Fact?
That's a fact on this show.
I just went to pilots before I came up here.
Here's the problem. It's death by a million cuts, and all of these cuts are self-inflicted. All of these bad decisions, they're in a vacuum. They're happening in Berea, and they're happening with one regime after another regime after another regime, and there's one common denominator, and we all know who that is. Here we
Paul
go again.
DePodesta.
He's part of it because you know what? He's bridged more than one regime. So yes, he's been a consistent.
When you look at the quarterback position, the way they've handled it for the last 2 years, it's been ridiculous.
3 years.
3 years.
No,
I'm about to say, what are you talking about?
30 years.
I mean, let's not let him off the hook for Brandon Whedon, Johnny Manziel, and on and on.
I'm talking about Stefanski.
I mean, Stefanski and Barry have nothing to do with those guys.
No, but the organization does.
Yes, 100%.
So if you look at this, they're in trouble. They're in real trouble. And I said it a week ago. This injury has always been bigger than what it was.
How do they misdiagnose that?
Like I
I'm
knew
not
what
sure
it
they
was.
did.
They didn't. They just don't.
He out for a month. Just say he out.
By the
for
way,
a month. Like, I don't
you
know.
reached out to your surgeon. I talked to mine.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Are you more likely to suffer more severe injury if you play with a bruised rotator cuff? Absolutely.
And,
And the explanation was exactly what your guy said.
Yeah.
That tissue is already tender and may have a laceration that we can't see.
And think of
He
it.
out
and
for a
think of
month.
it. and think of it. From,
It could be season.
Think of it from Watson's
It's over.
perspective.
If it tears.
He's looking at these dudes like, you set me up. The fan base is already wishy-washy.
That's a fact.
People already didn't like me coming in because of what all the baggage. Now I get to a point where I have my best game. You come out and tell them I could have played. The general manager comes out and say you're definitely going to play.
Yeah.
And then if I go out there and hurt it worse and have to be out this season, no one in Cleveland is going to give you know what about what Deshaun Watson talked about, because they're going to automatically call him injury prone, bust. He wasn't worth it. So now if I'm him,
They didn't do him any favors, G. You're
Nope.
right.
I'm questioning whether
Nope.
I even want to go out there.
And
Nope.
I'll tell you,
right out.
if they go and get boat raced this Sunday,
What will happen?
Stefanski's not going to get fired if they get boat raced. But it's got to start being part of the conversation.
that seat gets real hot.
If they get,
Real hot.
He get boat race.
if they get,
Listen, Dallas got boat race. They're a good football team.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to make a decision on one blowout.
No.
They all right.
But you got Indians.
Their defense is our defense.
They're a lot better than.
They all right.
They're not bad.
They lost
They're-
Diggs, and that's a big thing.
You got the Colts and the Seahawks. Listen, I'm not expecting them to beat the Niners, even if he plays, but I'm expecting them to go win those next two games.
I'm not.
If
I'm
Watson's
just-
back,
it's the
and if they
At
don't,
Seattle.
See, that's
Seattle?
it's hard.
If
to win
Watson
in Seattle.
plays,
it's hard. To
yes.
win in Seattle. It's hard.
Yes.
I'm listen, Bull.
Gee.
Bull,
You know
it's
better than anybody.
hard to win in Seattle. I'm gonna just tell you
I don't
that
want to
right
hear about
now.
this.
Ooh-wee.
Every year
not.
we hype up this team, and then we think they should lose at a mediocre Seattle team.
Your coach is mediocre to below average to trash. He's just trash.
The good quarterback. He's not trash.
He is
It's
not
not-
good.
it's-
Kevin Stefanski is not a good coach. I've been sitting here trying to hold this in for years. He's not good.
Preach.
He has won no playoff games. His offense sucks. We
won
make
a- he won a
excuses.
playoff
He wasn't there.
Look,
Dang,
he wasn't
there.
there. He's at the crib. His playbook is trash.
Dang.
He does not know how to get people open. I watched this JV offense. It's boring as hell.
Well, you
I
said-
don't like it.
You said that people.
Then
was
why
open
did you
last
pick
week.
them to win 11 games this year?
Because they had Nick Chubb and they had Deshaun Watson. We cannot win with Kevin Stefanski and no talent. We're gonna get boat raced. You think he's gonna magically call plays and dial it? Is he gonna be a genius this week?
You said that people was open last week.
Check downs.
Oh, okay.
When I was like, you see, we throw deep balls. There'll be 3 people around our guys.
Well, the first game, if the weather conditions was right, Marquise Goodwin would have banged
I
his
see.
head twice.
Our trick plays don't even work. They be like, what?
Word.
They be looking at us like, this
Yeah,
ain't gonna work.
our trick plays do be kind of like.
What the heck
Same ones,
is
same
that?
ones I ran in junior high.
Just-
ones.
We're
I'm
not
like,
winning.
oh, I know what that is. That's a double twist.
And I'm the Kool-Aid dude. But let's be clear. We're in a division where the Steelers are as worse as I've ever seen the Steelers.
can't even wear
No
my
playmakers. They beat you. The Ravens came in here and was like, we'll take this win too. We don't care.
After
And-
losing to the Colts.
After
at
losing,
home.
and the Bengals listen. They beat 2 and 3, and guess what? Joe Burrow has one leg. Guess what? He looks like he's healthy. I'm not picking them in this division because now we got P.J. Walker. I don't get it.
Slash.
This is worse than like.
By the-
It's just bad. It's not. We're not winning with this.
By the way, not only you
Good.
saw the stat that Mike put up 5 touchdowns and 11 picks.
Yeah.
He's also fumbled 4 times.
Oh, no.
So he's turned the ball over 15
Well,
times.
they might as
and
well-
he's only played like 6 games.
And so if they're a wash, and it seems they are,
Then play the young
then
guy.
get the young guy some reps.
Yes.
And you know what? If he plays against San Francisco,
I win him.
every defense he faces from here moving forward
Will be easier.
is going to seem
Yeah.
like it's easier.
Yeah.
So just get something out of this game. Don't get reps to a guy who's not going to be on your roster next year.
Well, at the end of the day,
Get something out.
at the end of the day, they did this, so you got to ride it out now. You traded
I
your
got an
backup
idea.
away, you got to ride it
Let's
out.
send it to the behind the glass to break the tie because we've got 2 for PJ Walker. We've
Yeah.
got 2 for DTR. Is this a consensus vote, McNuggets, or is this your vote?
Earl's working from home today, so this
Okay.
is a
What is
Mikey
he, sick?
McNuggets vote. No, he's got to pick up his car right after the
okay.
show, so he asked if he could drop it off. And
Okay.
Earl is fine. He sent his stuff in. He's
right.
killing it today. If it's up to me, it's DTR and it's not even close. I don't care if you think there's a 2% chance Walker might give you a better chance. You traded Josh Dobbs, as Bull alluded to, for a reason. You believe this guy, DTR, was capable of being quarterback too, and you're going to throw that away after one fluky performance. And, yeah, he played bad. Do not get me wrong.
Well, he
did
wasn't
not play
prepared,
bad.
though, Mike.
But I don't blame him because
Right.
he was set up to fail
So
from the get-go.
let's see what he can do with 2 weeks of preparation.
Exactly. And if you're telling me, and this goes back to a bigger issue, if they saw that game like, oh, he's not it, well, then Andrew Berry royally effed this up.
You aren't kidding.
So, to
well,
me,
listen,
it's
no.
DTR or nothing.
They are saying he's not it. I mean, if the report from yesterday was right, and multiple sources reported that, and that it is PJ, and it's not DTR if Watson can't go, look at the flip-flop that's happened in this organization at this position just since Barry's been here.
The way I looked at that was they're protecting his psyche, to what Tyvis said earlier, but that's, to me, not a valid excuse. You can't protect a rookie's psyche.
Nope, this is a big boy league. We wear helmets. You can't handle it. You can't handle it. But you got to let him have that San Francisco smoke. You have to. You're trying to develop. This guy's your future. You told us that.
Imagine the Cowboys played Cooper Rush last Sunday because they're like, Dak, we know sometimes you're a little mentally fragile.
That's right.
We're going to let Cooper Rush.
And San Francisco's going to come out the gate hard.
And let's not forget this. We just talked to Mary Kay last week. Yesterday.
Yeah.
And on top of this, you got PJ Walker of DTR. On top of that, your coach won't put him in any positions to give him any decent, easy throws. It's all 5 wide and advanced stuff. And then we talked to Mary Kay, and Mary Kay says, well, look, we're just stuck with Jed Wills because his 5th year is already guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know how crazy that sounds? Even your quarterbacks have
By the way,
shot.
that decision was made 4 games ago.
They
only got 4 games in the tank that they didn't have when they decided to pick up that option.
They pick up an option on a guy that's going to help get them killed.
They got the #1 pass block in according to ESPN.
Listen, ESPN.
They're spending more money on their offensive line, I believe, than any team in football.
Is that true?
I
didn't know
we should
that.
double check
It
that.
is.
I thought it was the case.
And so that's
No,
why
it is.
And-
Because
It is.
Conklin got the extension. Wills has the
And
guaranteed
your-
money. The 2 guards.
and your offensive
You get an extension, and you get an extension. Oprah's up here running this show.
and
Everybody gets an extension.
I think you're a little too gloom and doom.
what is
You're
it?
2-2 right now.
Look, guess what?
You're projecting negative.
No. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it buck. Like, listen. Here's the thing. I can come up here. You should respect it. I can come up here. I can come up here and drink Kool-Aid and sell T-shirts all day. But I don't give a damn about none of that stuff. I told you I only talk about what I see. We're not wearing no Kool-Aid stuff when you got Jed Wills out here as a turnstile.
I can't wear my hoodie, man.
You can't.
But
Until
gee,
they
all
don't
this,
own it. No.
but all this stuff was
Put a piece of tape over there.
all the stuff you're
Shut up.
complaining about was there when they beat Tennessee, and we were all lauding them.
No,
for being
no.
good.
Deshaun Watson was there.
Yeah, Deshaun was there.
Wait, are you forgetting the biggest
That's
part?
the biggest
elephant
part.
in the room.
I know, but you're killing the team based on one game where Deshaun Watson
Bull,
didn't
I
play.
think he's killing them because decisions that they made that at the time seemed insignificant.
I agree with that.
Now
but,
look like they
but
were
going,
pretty bad
but,
decisions.
But he has. I feel like you've taken it too far. Like he's the worst coach, and he's this. I mean, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But
listen.
could
you have Kevin Stefanski's record? Can we throw that up?
He's been a
takes 62.
mediocre
He's
coach.
28 and
What are
25.
you trying to prove?
Well, I want to give G's comments some context.
Okay.
I mean, so he said he's not good. He's not good. So
No, he
what
said he's
does
the
not
worst.
good look like? We've got 3 years and 4 games in the barn.
He's got the most wins since '99.
Well, that
that
doesn't
doesn't matter.
say anything.
But
Trust me. That just speaks to their
he's-
incompetence going back to '99.
He's had mediocre success. He's been mediocre.
Yes,
He's
he's
saying
been-
he's one of the worst coaches
And
in
he,
the league. I just
he
don't agree
started
with
off
that.
so hot, too,
He
man.
promised you, he came into the season, and I keep saying it. I done watched all these games. He came into the season, I cross-referenced what they running this year to what they were running last year. There was nothing new. There's nothing but the trick plays. I go ask other people who watch the film. I say, Jake Burns, you see anything? No, I don't see nothing. I go talk to other people. They like, bro, it's not. You touted this playbook, and it's just reverses to Elijah Moore. How dumb do you think we
in fairness,
are?
I don't know that he touted the playbook. I think the media that was covering the team
Okay.
touted the playbook.
G, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you feel lied to Is that where the frustration comes from, that you feel deceived by the perceived notion that the offense would be different and now it's not?
This is not it. This ain't like listen, I've lied to myself a lot of years being a Browns fan. You make believe that one day it's going to just get better, like by osmosis. And you think the offense is going to just show up one day. But no, all of the seeds are there. They're running the same thing that they were running 3 years ago. And they're
with players that aren't as good.
With players that are not as good.
OBJ's gone. Jarvis is gone.
Nick Chubb is gone.
Amari Cooper's better than both of those guys.
He is, but you got two good receivers that are gone. They're not here. We've got one go-to receiver. Other than that, we got a bunch of guys.
When we talk about receivers, we always talk about we don't need those guys. We can't have, listen, you like names. I like production. DPJ got like 12 yards or something.
75.
In his last
Jerome
2
Ford
years
has
and 4 games, Kevin Stefanski is 17-21. Those are the numbers you lose jobs for.
Where's the signature win?
Cincinnati this year was big.
He got that win.
I like that win. I like all of his wins against Cincinnati.
What I don't understand is a week ago, before they lost to nobody was having anything bad to say about Stefanski after the offense looked its best against Tennessee.
So
now we're going completely the opposite direction.
To that point, you're right.
Yeah.
It might be an overreaction. However, we say it a million times on this show. This is a week-to-week league. Ask Dallas.
And by the way,
all right, but what did you expect against Baltimore with a guy making his first NFL start?
Not much.
Yeah.
But the team could have handled it better. They could have gotten DTR ready to play.
You just said it. He had 3 weeks to get the dude DTR to play.
No, 3 weeks to get him to play for this game.
For this game. Yeah.
Guess
1
what?
week to get him ready for Baltimore.
When he didn't play him, you know what he said? I sat on my hands and didn't do anything. I punted on that too.
On Friday, he didn't even take the handoff reps in practice.
I know.
You keep punting on stuff.
So they're doubling down on bad decision after bad decision.
I don't disagree with that.
Now when you trot P.J. Walker out here, people will say, well, what did you want? P.J. Walker's a practice squad guy. And guess what everybody else on the defensive side of football is looking at you? Incompetent.
Kill him.
You wasted my time.
That's a
you
fact.
wasted our time last year with Joe Woods. And we told you 100 times Joe Woods should be out of here. But he waited around so he could look like he's a good guy and cut him late after the year was already screwed.
There's an interesting story that pertains to that with Tampa Bay. When I was there, the defense was elite, all-time great. They would go on to win a Super Bowl. The defense was looking at the scoreboard when they were coming off the field every week, losing 14-10, 7-3. And the rumblings in the defensive rooms was Trent Dilfer is not going to take us where we have to go.
That's a fact.
So you know what Tony Dungy did? Tony Dungy took a rookie in Sean King, who had a decent senior year at Tulane. He was 11-0. And he said, let's do this. Let's see what we have. Because my defensive guys are drooling for wins. Maybe he's going to be enough. And they made it to...
Well, what's the comparison here?
They lost to the Rams on that fluky call. Bert Emanuel, the ball touched the ground. They ended up changing the rule on that the very next year. They lost that game, I think, 12-7.
But, Jay, what's the comparison?
The comparison
I don't see the comparison.
Is the natives were restless on the defense. And you could hear it. The media could hear it. In practice, you could hear Warren Sapp yelling out to the offense to get your shit together. We're out here elite, busting our tail, and you can't complete passes to get first downs. And so,
but you're talking about a season worth of games versus one game.
No, what I'm saying is they were in the position to go ahead and look. Let's roll the dice. Trent Dilfer's not getting it done. Let's see what we have. Now, in their case, Sean King balled out, played great. The Browns have put them in a position to where they had a guy on the roster that was a backup that was at least manageable in Josh Dobbs. I think everybody here would agree Josh Dobbs would give all of us a better feel.
He's a starter. He started.
He has started games.
He's starting right now.
I'd feel better with him than P.J. Walker, and that's
P.J. Walker started more games than Dobbs
right.
Into the season.
So what I'm saying is, after seeing what P.J. Walker did in his starts, I saw Dobbs almost got Tennessee to the playoffs last year. Bad division,
one game,
but he almost got them there. No,
he started one game.
I don't care. He played very well in that last game of the season, and they lost.
The fact of the matter is,
and he did play more than one game, Bull. He didn't just play one game.
The fact of the matter is this.
But I feel more comfortable with him than I do P.J. Walker.
Well, all right.
Walker's got 5 touchdowns
All
and
I
15
know is
turnovers.
the last time Watson played, the offense played great.
The fact
Yes,
of the matter
fact.
is,
So, I mean,
the defense got to be better than San Francisco on Sunday. That's the only chance.
Our
they
defense
have.
has to be better than
They
their
got to find a
defense.
way to get takeaways, which is hard against Brock Purdy.
I think
and
they
that
don't-
San
they don't
Francisco.
just have to be
They gotta-
better.
They got to be great.
They've got to be head and shoulders better.
Yeah, they gotta
because
be
San
great.
Francisco's offense is markedly better than ours.
Listen, y'all know what the situation is on the offensive side of the ball, so you got to be great.
Pitch a shutout.
That's the only way.
Not
y'all
asking
gonna
for
win.
much. Pitch
It's
a
a
shutout
lot,
against
but
San Francisco.
y'all got
Heading
enough
into-
talent to do it.
Heading into last season when we thought Jacoby Brissett would be the quarterback, Myles Garrett said, I don't really care who's back at quarterback because if the defense allows 0 points, we can't lose. So we need that kind of mentality going. We got a PCC read real quick, and then we'll move on to our next topic. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We asked our YouTube community tab who gives them a better chance of beating San Francisco, DTR or Walker. 77% said PJ Walker, 23% DTR. My, oh my, has the DTR train gone off the rails.
Man.
You
in
know what's so
record
funny
speed.
is that if you had asked that poll last week before the Ravens game, it would have been 99% DTR.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
The NFL is a speculation game, like stocks and bonds. Yeah, your stock price was this before this happened.
I'm gonna be
before the
honest.
regulations came down. When the regulations came down, it was this.
I'm gonna be
I
honest.
think I'm selling.
From a team standpoint, I think that if you was to go into the Browns organization and ask the team meeting, just players only, who y'all want to start, I think definitively they'd say DTR over PJ Walker because he's been there.
Then that's the move. Then it's not even a question. This whole debate's
There you go.
mutant point. What's not mutant point, Tyvis, is the fact that you played for Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco.
Yes, I did.
You have specific knowledge on what he brings as a head coach that the rest of us, frankly, will never understand because we were never in the locker room with Mr. Shanahan. So, from your perspective, what makes Kyle Shanahan such a unique and successful head coach?
Well, Kyle is an offensive genius, I tell you that. The one thing I liked about Kyle Shanahan as a coach is that he taught everybody. Like, it wasn't one of those things where he was trying to hide what he was doing. He, would have team meetings where he'd be like, listen, team meeting room. He'd go over the play and be like, this is what they're going to do. This is what we're going to do to beat it. And if they cover that, don't worry, this will be open. If they cover that, this is open. So it'd be so many times out on practice field. So, when we go out to practice, we would do this defensive segment where Kyle Shanahan would become the quarterback. Now, he'd be throwing to the interns and stuff like that. And he'd go through his progressions, and we'd be like, man, we got that covered. He'd be like, you see this guy right here wide open. So he was always keeping the defense on their toes and helping them become advanced because he was always figuring out ways to get scheme guys open. And what I like about his offense is he does a great job of trying to keep everything looking the same. So there's really no tell on exactly what's about to come. And I thought, when I looked at it, I'm like, man, this is kind of interesting. Going up against it for 2 years and practice every day, I'm like, I would sit there as a corner and be like, man, I really don't know if they're going to run the ball or pass because it all looks the same. And I think that kind of makes him very good because the key thing he does is put your linebackers in the bind. That's like the key. If you can put them linebackers in the bind where they can't figure out if it's run or pass, then it leaves both things
So wait,
open.
you're saying the key to beating his defense
It's our linebackers.
is having great linebackers?
Yeah. Don't do that.
The Browns linebackers have played well so
Don't
far.
do that. Don't do that. Can I show this board?
Because I know Dallas has a guy that isn't easily confused and is a wrecking ball on the field.
It's
and
tough.
He looked invisible.
It's tough.
Sunday night.
Look, let me show you. Look.
Let's see what they do.
So listen.
Ooh, got a big board now.
So this is like a base formation that they run. And the reason that this formation is so tricky is because they keep the wide receivers tight to the line. So what does that do is it discourages the corners from pressing. Okay, so now they're playing off. If I'm playing corner against them, I'm pressing everything. Why? Because Brock Purdy is a timing quarterback. McNuggets told me.
So disrupt their timing.
Exactly. McNuggets told me that Brock Purdy is what in passing or in timing?
He is third in the NFL in average time to release, 2.35 seconds, behind only Joe Burrow and Tua this year.
So, which means that we know he doesn't have the strongest arm. So it's not like if you make if the plays is going down the field, it's literally play action or 3-step drop, boom, the ball is out because it has to be there on
Right.
time.
It's
He's going
time.
to put it in the spot.
So man press is the key?
Yeah, because it disrupts the time. If you
Right.
jam him up on the line, now the timing's off. Now he got to hold the ball.
You
now.
think they'll do that?
They better.
And the Browns have the talent to do it.
Exactly.
certainly.
And
They do have the
they
talent.
want to press. So you see the formation. Now, what makes it so tricky is I'm going to give you 2 plays. I'm going to give you a run play and a pass play. First play we're going to talk about is this run play right here. So I seen this against when they went up against Dallas. What they do is same formation. Everybody, it looks the same. But what he does is he throws a pitch to CMC. CMC catches the pitch. Juice motions right before the snaps to a strong I formation. He comes up like he's going to lead block, and then he goes and leads block over here. You got George Kittle also rocking back on this. Why is that tricky? Because as a linebacker, your eyes have to flow back. And you
So
have
it's
to
a classic misdirection.
you got to come back with it, and it creates 2 extra gaps over. So now, if your gap is right here, or right here, you got to skip 2 gaps. Skip that, and you got to end up over here because everybody has to kick over. And that's hard to do on the fly. Now, it's easy. You'll see it with the Y. You'll see the Y rock back. You're like, okay, I need to push back a gap. But with Juice doing what he's doing, going up first, you don't expect him to also go lead block. So now it's a misconception that you got to rock back 2 gaps. And that's where they get you on this. It's a pitch back to CMC, so CMC can freely look at it. He could go here or he's free to go wherever, but his 2 lead blocks is going this way. So this is why this play is tricky. And as a linebacker, if you are already worried about that in the run game, now let's talk about what it looks like in the pass. Same formation again, but in this case right here, you think, okay, the guys go rock back again. So I'm already thinking I got to rock back and go with the run and go spit
Is the
another
Y
gap.
in motion before the snap?
No, this
or
is all on the snap.
post-snap.
This is post-snap.
So they're bunching everything.
Yeah.
And really not moving guys around much.
Now the
pre-snap.
only person that's gonna move is Juice. Juice
Okay.
is the fullback is gonna move over, and you're gonna think it's a run, and it's not.
Sure.
So-
They're baiting you to load up on a run.
Exactly.
for that
So
side.
now you rocking back and you thinking you got to fit the run. Boom. He just runs to the flats. He runs the play action. If this linebacker is so busy trying to rock back, they going to run this bang 8 right here. Now, if your corner's playing off, he going to run it.
That's stealing every time.
7-step. It's a 7-step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7-step plant balls coming out. Sometimes the quarterback don't even finish the play action. Sometimes he just flash it like this, turn around and throw it. Because all he needs is that linebacker to either slide this way or come
He
down.
also has to have
That's
a
it.
very good mental clock, too, to understand when he's going to get to his break.
Yeah, it is.
And these teams are so worried about McCaffrey
Exactly.
that it's even
So
more
it's
effective.
very tricky to defend.
Well, it's interesting. That's why it was so important to John Lynch and to Kyle Shanahan to go out and get McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Because
We need a running back that people fear.
they're gonna
You
honor
gotta
what he
you
does.
have to respect CMC
And-
because if you
and
don't,
if
he's
you
gonna take off.
don't,
He's gonna beat you.
He's gonna beat you every time.
Yeah, so that's why Kyle Shanahan is a mastermind when it comes to this thing because you just don't know. As a defensive player, you're playing confused. And
What
you're
I
trying
love
to play
though
off
is
of
he knew
instinct.
what pieces he needed to make that work.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got Brandon Aiyuk, you got Deebo, you got George Kittle. Like, you got all these pieces that can single-handedly beat you.
When you look at difference maker offensive coaches, to me, there's only 4.
Who do you have in that group?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid,
Yep.
Shanahan,
McDaniel.
Sean
McDaniels,
McVay.
definitely.
McDaniels is the 4th. He's got to do it longer, I think, before he's only done it. You know, they were lousy without Tua last year.
Right.
Lousy.
But did you count him as the 4th?
I counted him as the 4th, but he's not cemented in there
Yeah,
yet.
you want to see
I
more
think
from him.
I think he's a
Well,
difference
maybe
maker.
because H.N.
Is there any other
could be
difference
That
maker
man,
offensive
that-
coaches?
that man is dialing up stuff we ain't even seen.
Okay,
before.
so- but-
McDaniel?
Yeah.
Guess where he learned it from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a disciple of Kyle Shanahan.
Right. So, does anybody think there's anybody else?
No, that's my 4.
Wait, real quick, Ty. You said he learned it from Shanahan. I think they learned it from Ray Farmer when they were here in Cleveland. I think that's the
Oh,
origin,
no question.
origin
Yeah.
of all this.
No
offensive
question.
defense.
He's the godfather of all of
I
us.
didn't realize that in Washington it was
Shanahan,
McVay, and the guy from Green Bay, LaFleur.
LaFleur.
I didn't know all 3. So all 3 of them kind of run a similar style offense.
Man, listen. I take Eric Bieniemy today. Give me that.
As a head or as an OC?
Well, I'm just saying, like, as far as the offensive minds, I'll take him.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
if you want him, you're going to have to probably get him as a head now.
But he's not.
Yeah, he's not going to take another lateral job as an
Well,
OC.
we were talking about you respect people's offensive
Yeah,
minds.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not
You're
putting.
saying-
If you ask me between Bieniemy and Stefanski, I would go with. I guess I'd go with Bieniemy, but I'm not putting him in that group of those
I mean,
other four guys.
Washington's offense isn't exactly lighting the world on fire.
Is LaFleur fell off
No.
or something? He wasn't. He ain't. Well, I guess he.
Well, you know what? These guys all look good when they have quarterbacks that can execute it. To your
That's what
point,
I'm saying.
McDaniel looked great last year with Tua at the trigger.
Right.
You've got to have both. You've got to have the genius that's in the lab, and that like look at what they're doing in Kansas City. Andy Reid has the guy to pull off what he wants to do.
But he also won with Alex Smith.
Oh, I say he did it with Alex
Who was a
Smith.
He
mediocre
won.
guy.
He didn't win a Super Bowl with Alex
No,
Smith, but
but-
he made Alex Smith look better than we all thought he was.
So
Now, what's interesting though with McVay is like people gave him credit for Jared Goff, but quietly Jared Goff's been really good the last 2 years in Detroit.
Well,
He's been really good.
he didn't forget everything he learned from McVay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's knowledge.
He's become. I think we got to give him credit now.
We definitely have to give him credit.
He's
McVay?
no
No,
Goff.
Goff.
Oh, Goff.
Goff's a
yeah.
Look
good,
at their offense.
Goff is a pretty good quarterback. He's not elite, but he's a pretty good quarterback.
Here's what
Top 10
here's
for
what-
me.
Here's
He's
what
the
I have
back
a
end of the top 10, I
Here's what I
agree.
have a problem with. I got a problem with people that have gone to championship games. People that like. I can't say Brock Purdy is garbage. I can't say Jimmy G is not good. I can't say that Goff isn't good. These guys have been on the highest stage in Super Bowls.
Right.
Sometimes I think when we be diminishing people to make ourselves feel better. Like, I can't say that these guys
Well, in
ain't
fairness,
no good.
though, you guys were, especially Eugene, were downgrading Purdy yesterday.
No, I didn't say. I'm saying that when you talk about talent and skill set, I'm not saying that he's not like a guy that is a decent dude, but I'm just saying I don't think he's better skill for skill than Deshaun Watson. I also was saying more involved with that with Shanahan because Garoppolo looked the same way. My thing is this.
I don't agree the same. He made him look better. I agree. I think he looks better than they never put up these numbers. Now, obviously, they got McCaffrey too.
Hey, listen, I put it to you like this. And this is the thought process. I can't come to y'all's house and I got an apartment and be like, hey man, why don't you throw a fence up back there? You like, bro, what you mean? It's a little more involved than like you got to get some codes, call the city. Can you put that up? And I'm over here.
Now you know.
And now I know. Like now I'm like, yeah. You can't. So my thing is, these dudes done been there at the highest level. They playing going to the playoffs. Our guys have not done that. So I can't sit here and say, oh, this guy ain't that good. He ain't that good. When I just want my dudes to play. Right. I just try to get them on the field.
Yeah. Good coaches make good players a lot better, and great players can make good coaches look a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Synergy.
They go in tandem.
I don't think Zach Taylor. I think Zach Taylor's an average coach.
I mean,
Zach Taylor was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
perfect
He
example.
happened to be in Cincinnati when they were sitting
Yes.
on a can't-miss first-round pick.
I think that he's lucky. He's got a great quarterback and he has two good coordinators.
And two really good receivers.
That's
One great
That's
receiver.
A-Rod and Nathaniel Hackett. They just together they're really good, but apart they're not that great.
Okay,
I'll send it
McNugget.
back to you guys in 1 sec. Got to get a quick read in. Jason will be sending out text from the Browns 49ers game this weekend. That is a members only perk. So if you're not a member, starters tier or coaches tier, you can join on our YouTube page. Click the join button. It is $1.99 a month for the starters tier, $4.99 for the coaches tier. Coach tier gets you overtime plus texting from Jason this weekend. You can find the link in the community tab, members only, if you want to be part of that. So we talked about the 49ers offense. Tyvis, if you were Jim Schwartz on defense, how do you stop these guys?
Well, it starts with the linebacker crew, as I mentioned. If you're gonna play cover 3 or cover 1, mainly cover 3 in this, you have to have what they're called high price hookers. That's what you need. Yeah,
What?
that's what we call them, high price hookers. Meaning
Heidi
that
Fleiss?
high priced.
No. Yeah, that was a pop culture reference.
Madam,
Too young.
too
young to get
that.
She ran a high-price hooker.
If it's before
business.
if it's before the 90s, don't say it. Anyways, you need your hook droppers to get some depth in they drops, which is hard because, like I say, that CMC thing is going to really kill you. So you need that deep. You went out there, you got these two defensive tackles for reasons like this. You need them to ensure that they're going to stop CMC, which is tough. That's a tough ask. It's not like you're going to stop them every play. But if you can at least buy your linebackers time to get a full run pass op read on what it is, maybe they can get to their drops and be able to be effective in there. We know Brock Purdy don't have the strongest arm, but he does have great touch on his football. He can get it right over your linebacker's head. So you got to be able to do that. And it comes down to them corners. Them corners have to press. I know it's so discouraging to press a reduced split because you fear that you won't see the cracks. And you won't, and the cross routes. The cross routes is not even the problem. It's the cracks. You feel you feel like if you won't be able to see if he cracking or if he running an over route, you feel like you're gonna be confused. But trust me, a receiver gives it away by exactly who they look at. They're gonna look right at where they're going. If they're looking right down at the guy, then they're probably gonna crack.
I noticed Sunday Brock Purdy was looking off guys all night.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyways,
I'm not saying. I was specifically looking to see what he was doing, and there were a few plays where he threw to his third option, but he's going.
His progression is really good.
How good do you think he is?
What do you mean?
How good a quarterback is Brock Purdy?
He like top 15.
Top 15?
Yeah.
Top half?
Yeah. He's top 15.
He's leading the league in just about every category.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay, that's your opinion. I honor it. I respect
so what do you think? He's a top 5 quarterback?
I absolutely think right now he is a top 5 quarterback. Yes. Absolutely.
I can't go that far.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. The guy's never walked off the football field as a loser.
Yes, he did.
No, he had not in the NFL.
They lost to the Eagles.
He didn't finish the game.
But he played.
But he got
okay. In
that's a silly argument. But
series that he played.
But Jay, you can't. It's not apples to apples.
He played.
Not every guy's playing with the same player.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I hate that 11-0 thing. Like he didn't play in that game. He played.
So which of these
They lost that game.
Jay, which of these quarterbacks would you rather have Brock Purdy over?
Name them.
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
Joe Burrow.
No.
Justin Herbert.
No.
Josh Allen.
No.
Yes.
You'd rather have Brock Purdy than Josh Allen?
Yes.
That's absurd. I love
Let's get a drug test in here.
Yes.
Jalen
Get a drug test.
Josh Allen scares me for one reason.
Picks.
Yep. Too many of them.
Jalen Hurts.
Not just picks. Wow. He's thrown some picks in big times.
He's loose with the football, but I got to take him. Good grace.
I think you still have this graphic. I don't know. Maybe you kill him after every show.
Josh Allen.
Do you have the season ranks?
And I love.
Are you
I can tell you.
I think you went back up to
I love
when
Brock
he started.
Purdy.
Right?
I do too.
But he's out of his mind.
I see him as a top quarterback moving forward.
You do know.
Moving forward.
I'm like second, like a San Francisco fan, right?
I don't care. That doesn't. I'm not a fan of.
But I also call a spade a spade. Like
wow.
Right. You've got him top 15.
Yeah.
That's egregious.
I don't think it's egregious.
Show me the season ranks again.
Right now.
And now we're going to kill him because he has good players.
Let me. No. Because I've defended Purdy. I think G went too far dismissing him. I thought yesterday.
I don't think
saying he's the same as Garoppolo. I don't think that's fair.
I'm saying Garoppolo has some better results.
You got him?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If we were starting an NFL draft today,
Right.
If the NFL teams were drafting, you think Brock Purdy would go in the top 5? There's no chance.
Top 5 overall?
No, top 5 of quarterbacks. There's no chance.
I'm not sure he would yet. And here's what I'm saying.
No, you're sure he wouldn't.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I tried dismissing this guy last year every start. I'm like, it's going to catch up.
But there's a difference between dismissing and top 5.
Now that I've watched him for probably 4 or 5 complete games, first snap to last.
Yeah.
As I'm watching him, I want his performance to match what my first impression of him was. Oh, this guy can't. There's no way that we can be looking at this.
He might not.
We said that about Tom Brady once.
Hey, he might not be better than C.J. Stroud.
Hey, listen.
Oh wow.
Hey,
no.
C.J. Stroud don't even have weapons.
Would you trade C.J. Stroud for Purdy?
Hell no. Absolutely not.
And I think the Texans would be like, hell no, we don't want Brock Purdy.
No, I wouldn't do that. First of all, neither of them has played enough NFL games to know how good they are.
No.
Neither one of them.
Once upon a time, we said RG3 was going to the Hall of Fame. Once upon a time, we said Colin Kaepernick was going to the Hall of Fame.
We put
Colin Kaepernick did get blackballed.
We put Andrew Luck in the Hall of Fame. We
did. You're right.
We're trying to find a way to still get him in there.
And they probably will.
No chance.
Mike,
Andrew
do you
Luck
have
in
that-
the Hall of
Do you have
Fame?
that graphic or not?
Yeah, this season, I'll just read you the stats, but he's first in QBR, first in QB rating, second in yards per attempt, second in completion percentage, seventh in touchdown passes, eighth in passing yards. He leads the league in completion percentage on passes that travel at least 10 yards in the air or more.
That was the big one that surprised me.
I guess he's the best quarterback in football.
I looked at that, Mike. That was the one I didn't know. I didn't know that last stat. That's an impressive stat.
I think
Because he's not check down Charlie here.
I mean, he's not throwing like
So let me
50-yard
ask-
bombs.
He's
but
not. And you know what? His one ding, I don't know that he has a strong arm.
well,
and at some point, he's going to need a strong arm.
are you-
but he can get his
Jay,
arm stronger.
Jay,
there is not a GM in football that would take him over Josh
I don't care.
Allen.
I don't care about that.
Okay, but you acknowledge that, right?
I don't even think that way because everybody has a different format
Let
for
me-
how
so-
they draft players.
let me ask you-
So you saying right now you feel like Brock Purdy is playing the best football, best quarterback. He's playing better
I don't
football.
say that. The numbers say that.
Well, no,
So-
no. I mean, because
I'm
I
just
think
curious.
I think you can be better than somebody at a point in time. Like if Tyvis is faster to me, he's always going to be faster than me. Right?
Guys, I watched San Francisco's offense, and I'm not going to punish him because he has great weapons. I'm not going to do that.
Well, you can't ignore it,
Well,
though.
But I'm also not going to kill a guy
So,
that is
again,
a great
nobody's killing
quarterback
him.
but has no weapons.
So let
But
me-
nobody's killing
So
him.
my
We
question,
know.
my thing for you, so Tua's like that too. Then Tua's really great in the NFL.
I love Tua.
He's a top 10 quarterback.
Right
Top
now,
10,
right now
yes.
he's playing like that.
Is he better than Brock Purdy?
If you told me right now you could pick one or the other, that's easy for me. Tua's one big hit from being out of the league.
But we seen Tua without Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and he wasn't impressive at all.
I did well. No, I'm not going to say that. He impressed me
Doing
at
my
times.
stripper?
Well, I'm sorry, I missed that.
He
one.
said
Tua-
Tua
we seen
never
Tua
impressed
without
anybody
weapons and with
until he got the
weapons.
weapons.
Was he impressive without his
No.
Okay.
He is a much better quarterback now than he was.
Who is his play caller?
I know. I understand that.
All right, then stop
I
it.
get that.
You need
So,
to-
so you're
I
saying the
think-
quarterback doesn't matter?
We
You
did
can play
30 minutes on this
quarterback.
yesterday,
No,
Are you
guys.
Jay, you're
serious?
going too far. You're
the
going
play
too far.
caller has
factors.
made
It's
him
a
better.
factor.
Yes, everything matters. But here's what I'm telling you.
What is going
From
on?
my eyes, through all of his starts, I'm waiting to see a chink in the armor.
You know what?
I haven't seen it.
If he goes and plays for a different coach,
Which
is he
might happen at
is
some point.
he the same? Do you think?
We'll have to
What
wait
you
and
from
see,
from
won't
what
we?
you've seen from your talent and what he's
If he
doing,
was with
you
Kevin
can be able to
Stefanski-
defend. I can tell you straight up, if Aaron
hold
Rodgers
on.
left
Hey, hold
the
on.
Packers and went to the Jets,
Hey,
he'd still be
if
good.
he was with
I can tell you that.
if he was with
I can
Stefanski-
tell you if Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to the Buccaneers, he'd still
Yes,
be good.
and listen-
So why can't you tell me Brock Purdy
Because-
can't be good on another team? Because you see it.
I can't tell you that.
Why can't you? I
tell
can.
you- Listen, I can't tell you he's not going to be great.
Why can't
he
you?
He may well be great.
You looking at him every day play. You said
Yes.
you watched every
And
game and you've been so impressive.
Here's what
so
I
if
see.
he went to the Dallas Cowboys or he went to the Houston Texans, would he still be that guy?
We don't know.
Tom
we?
Brady was. Aaron Rodgers was.
So if you want to compare him to the greatest of all
Alex
time,
Smith was even pretty good.
yeah, no, he got better.
Whatever.
He got markedly better
Whatever.
with Andy Reid. He was a guy,
Yeah, you're
and then
right.
Andy Reid
You're
took
right.
him, and what happened?
What was
right.
Jeff Garcia?
You're
So
right.
look, you're trying to say
Who
it's
did Andy
all one
Reid
or
make
the
better?
other, and it's not,
Alex
Tyvis.
Smith.
I do agree. Listen,
It's not one or the other.
It's semantics.
It's a combination.
It's semantics.
But listen,
And I'm just telling you,
here's the bottom line.
we'll
You're-
watch this season as it plays out.
Jay,
We won't know.
How many games do you need to see
Jay,
him play before
I
you say he's
won't
top
ever
five?
know until he leaves.
Oh,
until
that's
he leaves
nonsense.
Shanahan. That's
nonsense.
a fact.
So you can never say a quarterback's great until he plays for two coaches.
Yes.
Oh, Tyvis.
Yes.
I
Come
don't
on.
agree with
Tom
that.
Brady
No.
played for Bill
I need
Belichick
to-
for all those
Yes.
years,
No.
and he wasn't great.
I need to see him without weapons.
Oh, stop.
Can Brock Purdy single-handedly win you
Stop
a game
it.
with
So
with
Tyvis,
just
is
decent
Patrick
weapons?
He has.
Tyvis,
yeah.
is
He
Patrick
has.
Mahomes great by that logic.
He's only played for one coach.
Yes, but he doesn't have weapons
You got to see him play for a second coach.
though. No, but he also don't. He only got Travis
Listen,
Kelce.
hey, hold on. You guys are both out of pocket.
He
right
had a
now.
lot of
both
weapons
the out of
at the
pocket.
time.
You just
Thank you,
ruined it
Bull.
with that. You can't say you can't ever say he's good until he has
Bad
another coach.
point.
That's crazy. But to say he's better than Josh Allen is insane. There's nobody that would take him over Josh Allen.
Here's what we'll
there's
do.
There's a big gap, Jay, between what like you're accusing everybody of saying, well, he sucks because of the people around him. No, nobody's saying he sucks.
Nope.
I think he's a good quarterback.
I'm about to say I never
If-
said he sucked.
If you look
you
at
said he top 15.
that's not unreasonable.
Why
So
is
he's
that
the
bad?
upper half of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's what we'll do.
Why is that such a? Why is
Bookmark
that
this
wrong?
day, October
Yeah.
11th. Is that the
What
date?
is it wrong with you?
Bookmark this day. We're going to revisit this at the end of the season. I don't know how much hay has to be in the barn for you guys to make a decision on someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's about a season. I need to see somebody do it for an extended period of time because now there is a book on what this guy likes to do. What are his strengths? What are his
Also, you know what we
weaknesses?
don't know? He's never had to play from behind. Never.
So that's not his fault. I can't punish him for that.
I'm saying we don't
that's
know
fair.
what he's going to do
Right,
in
but
those
I can't punish him
situations.
for that. I can't say, well, we don't know because we haven't seen it.
Well, you can say we don't know because it's a fact. We don't know.
Here's the problem. He's never had to play from behind for a pretty good reason.
Yes.
He's a damn good quarterback.
And because the talent around him is great. I
It
love
is
Purdy.
great. I'll
I
give
love
you that.
Purdy. But to say, like, he's probably right now somewhere between 8 and 15, wherever you like.
We'll find out at the end of the year.
McNuggets, this is your problem with fantasy football rankings and circular arguments. You don't know if he's going to play for another coach, Tyvis. You don't know if he has to play from behind, Bull. And guess what? If he is a top 15 quarterback, if you said he's 11, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He's the 11th best quarterback
He's
in the
good
Milky
enough
Way.
to win with. I know that.
He's 11th best
I never
quarterback
thought
in the
Jimmy
world.
Garoppolo was a top 15 quarterback ever.
I never did, ever.
No,
and he
no.
played with the same talent and the same coach.
And I never thought personally that Alex Smith was a top 15
question
Jay,
quarterback.
would you
I
take-
didn't either. No, I didn't either.
Would you take him over Watson now?
Yes.
So that changed from yesterday.
No, I told you.
he said yesterday
I
you don't want
told
him.
you going into that before you said I'll take the argument. I said obviously the one thing that no one is considering in your argument is salary. You're going to tell me I have to pay Deshaun Watson $45 million a year, or I can pay Brock Purdy $890,000.
But he was saying, who would you take money aside?
Well, that was our argument yesterday, and I
yeah.
told you I don't know. I told you I really because the more and Jason said this eloquently.
So I convinced you.
No, I told you ahead of time. I am right on the fence, but I can't take the salary out. That's like saying, well, take a power hitter's power away from him. Do you still like him?
Yeah.
You have to
Two
figure
different
everything
stories.
into the argument. And like you can do it mythically and in a vacuum. If it's in a vacuum and all things are equal, right now I'm 50.1 Deshaun Watson, 49.9 for Brock Purdy. And here's the thing. I am still giving Watson credit for his Houston days. However, the more games he plays and looks like Cleveland Deshaun, the more his long-term projection for me goes down. And the more sample I see of Brock Purdy dismantling great defense. I mean, an all-time, we'll find out Sunday what he does against this defense.
Yeah.
But that Dallas defense, guys, is very good. No one will debate that. The more I see him put up 42 in 3 quarters against a defense like that, the more his long-term projection for me goes up.
In the end...
Wait, Bo, hold on, Bo, one
Yeah.
sec. Will you text Lomas?
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
In the end, by the way, there's...
Come on, Lomas.
There is no way... Listen, the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, we know who they are, all right?
Apparently,
in
Brock
whatever
Purdy.
order you want to put them in, well, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and then Burrow, Herbert, Allen, and Hurts are 2 through 5, whatever order you want to put them in. There's nobody else in conversation, in my mind, for those top 5 spots. It's ridiculous to make a case for anybody else. Do you agree with that?
Apparently, Brock Purdy is in that case.
Come on now.
He is.
He's not top 5.
So 2 is 2 then.
2 is right there. 2 is definitely top 10. He's not
I got
top 15.
I got 2 at like 6.
I'd probably
Is he
put-
better than Brock Purdy? You got to
Yes.
They're the
He's
same
better.
person.
No.
He's better than Brock.
I like his arm better.
Because I've seen
Yeah.
Tua not be good.
He's a better athlete.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
When was
All
that?
right, Lo. We're what? Nope.
Yeah.
Dial in whenever you're ready.
Listen, you can't have
Thanks.
Brock Purdy. There's no argument for Brock Purdy as a top 5
when
quarterback.
did you
There is an argument.
When
I
did
made
you
one.
see Tua not be good?
You might not like the argument.
I'm curious.
But
You're
you
basing
can't-
it on 4 games.
Here's what you're saying. Here's what
I'm
you're saying.
so
No, he's played
curious.
5. And
5
he
games.
played how many last year? He's played 11 in total, I believe.
6, yeah,
If-
11
if-
games.
so
He
11
played
regular
11
season.
games.
Yeah,
And what McNuggets did is he went back to the time he became a starter.
Right.
And what were the numbers amongst all quarterbacks since that date?
He has 22 touchdowns since December 4th of last year. That's second most in the NFL, tied with Mahomes, and the fewest interceptions in that span.
Okay.
Well, second and first in the two categories that we judge quarterback on.
That's
touchdowns and picks.
If Tyvis would have
second and first.
If Tyvis would have said top 10, would you be cool with that?
I would definitely been okay with that.
Just out of curiosity.
I would have been okay with that.
But I'm just curious.
But top 15 to me is a diss.
I'm curious.
It's not
when did you see Tua not play good? I'm just
early in his career.
Okay.
And it was the same time when everybody was saying this guy probably isn't the guy.
Yeah, why? Because the talent around him wasn't good.
Yeah.
No, he had some pieces there.
Who was he?
He had pieces. Was Waddle there?
No.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
Look that up.
He just got there last year or 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago.
Was he there?
He had 1 year
There
with,
was not
with
a- He had a
Waddle
year
and
with
no
Waddle.
McDaniel.
There is not a single team
1
in the
year with
NFL
Waddle
that would
and
take him
McDaniel,
as a
and
top 5
honestly,
quarterback.
the owner had kind of made the decision that no, he is our guy.
Yeah, because
Got rid
Flores
of the
didn't
coach.
want. Yeah, Flores
right.
didn't
Flores was like, this guy, he's not it. I can't win with this guy.
want. Okay.
So, look, go back to the last 11 games. I don't know at what point your sample size is, okay, that's enough. What is it for you? 26? 32? 100?
By the way,
Brock
Purdy is eighth at PFF. He's the 8th quarterback. And just the pass grade, he's 12th.
The QBR is 1.
Well, okay, that's a flawed
Okay,
stat.
if I'm going to go PFF,
I'd
which
rather
we
go
have said many times, wow.
I'll take
Wow on
PFF over quarterback rating.
Not me.
Okay.
QBR,
I think it's.
QBR factors
I
in.
just think it's hard for me to judge it because I just maybe
You haven't seen enough.
No, it's because
QBR does not.
Because I just know how great Kyle is.
So let me ask you this:
Because you would
point?
how can you tell me that he's great, but Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl.
Here's what I'm at. Jimmy Garoppolo never led the NFL in any passing.
But he still went to the Super Bowl.
But he never led the NFL in passing categories.
That's fine. He went to
So,
the
was
best
he great?
stage of them all.
Was Jimmy great?
He was that year.
No, he wasn't.
We got to bring in our guest. We have
not great.
the
You know
All-Pro
it.
offensive
You know
tackle.
it.
Join us before we bring in Lomas Brown. I want to ask everybody in the chat. If you are watching the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It is totally free. And now,
They won him.
Okay.
2 days later,
Lomas.
late, we got Lomas Brown, the legendary offensive.
Low,
There he is.
sugar, sugar. Low, man. So McNuggets, our producer, said, "Hey, we need somebody Monday. Reach out to someone." I go, "Okay." What's the Browns' biggest problem right now? I thought offensive line play. Who do I go to? Lomas. Lomas, you come on? Hey, sugar, I'm in.
Yeah.
No show. Lomo.
Hey, I had a senior moment, man. It's hell getting old, Jay.
Hey, Lomas, I got you. You my baddest bull right now. You dry snitching on TV, Jay.
Yeah.
Don't dry snitching.
He's dry snitching.
You tell him.
Wait a
I'm
second.
not dry snitching.
You really
I'm
yeah.
full on.
Hold on a second.
He was on the
Lomas.
stand. I saw him miss.
Lomas.
Snitches get
Pointing
stitches.
him out in the court of law. Him
Lomas
right
is-
there.
Lomas, you got to help Jay out here.
Help me out, brother.
He has lost his mind, Lomas.
Help me out, Lo.
He just said on this show that Brock Purdy, who we all like and think is a good player, is better than Josh Allen. How crazy is he?
Kill me, bro.
Whoa. Sugar.
Come at me.
You didn't go there.
I went
You
there.
didn't go there, did you, Sugar?
And you know what, Lomas? It's going to be proven out. I'm telling you, it's going to be proven out.
So, now, I would say this. I would say that I think Josh Allen is a little bit more turnover prone
Whoa,
than
no question.
Purdy has been.
What gets you
because
beat in big games, Lomas? You know
Yeah,
this.
that you're right. You're right. And he
You got to
takes
take care of the
chances,
rock,
Jay.
man.
Yeah, he has this gunslinger mentality, and he takes chances that a lot of other quarterbacks, a lot of more reserved quarterbacks don't do. And when you do that, you put the ball in harm's way. But, man, I love Josh Allen. I love what he could bring
I
to
do
the
too.
table. 'Cause
Lomas, I do too.
That rocket on them legs, Jay, he could use them legs to get out
listen,
of trouble.
Jay's
I got
out of his
all
mind.
that.
He's lost.
I
You've
get
lost your
all of
mind.
that. But you got a guy going back to the time he became a starter, 11 games. So all of the starters in the league going back there 11 games, he's first in the NFL in fewest interceptions, and he's second in the NFL in most touchdowns.
He's
That's
not asked to
how
do
I judge my
nearly
quarterbacks.
as much as Josh Allen.
That's
He's not
how I judge him.
Right, Lomas?
Yeah.
He's not asked to do nearly as much as Josh Allen is.
You're right. I mean, and the structure in the San Francisco structure, man, they have a great structure. I mean, look at some of the other quarterbacks that they've had in that system, and they've had success with it. And, you know, not to take anything away from Brock Purdy, he's a good quarterback. You got to be good to be in the NFL. But, man, I think Josh Allen is a special quarterback. He's a little special.
He is. And listen,
by the way, 17 touchdowns and 4 picks in the playoffs. 17 touchdowns
Josh
and 4
Allen?
picks. Yes.
A lot of those were the first round and second round playoff opponents, but when he gets in the struggle with a Kansas City or a Cincinnati, so while you're scurrying through to find your stats, I'm just telling you what my eyes tell me.
Again,
he has thrown bad picks.
Well, your eyes are wrong.
Big moments.
Against Kansas City, is 6 touchdowns and 1 pick in the playoffs.
When the game they lost last year, what was his numbers?
Against the Bengals.
Yeah, what were his numbers?
He did not play well in that game.
What were his numbers? That's what I want to know.
1 game, Jay.
It was a big game.
It's the only bad game he's played in the playoffs.
What were his numbers?
He completed 60% of his passes, 264 yards, no touchdown, 1 pick.
Okay.
That's the only bad game.
Can't have it. Lomas, we broke
Wait, no, Jay. You're wrong. No, admit you're wrong. You're wrong.
Never.
You're wrong. Admit it. You're wrong. He's played 8 playoff games. He's had 1 bad one. You're wrong.
Time will tell.
You said he's not. He doesn't do anything. He's had 1 bad game in the playoffs.
Right now, he's playing better than Josh Allen this season.
You
want me to say that I'm wrong?
You said he's been bad in the playoffs.
We have
he
a
had
guess.
1 bad game.
Let's behave appropriately.
Well,
Lomas, we brought you on to talk about the Browns' offensive line, believe it or not.
Right.
And I know that you do the Lions games, and I know you're busy on Sunday. You can't see everything. I understand that. We did McNuggets. We sent him some clips, right?
I did send him
And I've seen the clips.
Okay, so here's what before we say anything about Browns' offensive line play or whatever, I want to hear what your impression is of the line from the clips we sent you, things that you may have seen that you can point out.
So Willis is the one that I really, really watch.
Jed Willis, yes.
Yes. And, you know, Jay, he's not a bad player. It's just his technique right now. He's all over the place with his technique. And what he's all over the place with, Jay, the most important thing is his eyes. Right now, he's seeing everything. And when you're seeing everything as an offensive lineman, that means any little fake that the defensive lineman does to you, you're watching that. And because you can see his helmet going like this when guys are throwing fakes on him. He has to stop looking at the total picture, and he has to find something small to zero his eyes in on his opponent, and that's going to help him. He's just trying to see too much right now, Jay, and you can't do that. As an offensive lineman, you just can't do that. You have to zero your eyes in, like I said, on the small target, and that's going to help you with the overall target. But right now, he's just seeing everything, and that's going to get you beat. Because, like I said, anytime a D lineman throws a move on you or do anything, you're looking at that, and you're kind of going to go for that and everything. So, not a bad player. He has good feet. He's got good feet. You know, he's quick. But he's watching everything right now.
Interesting.
Lomas, first of all, shout out. I met you at the High School Hall of Fame. Congratulations on your induction. But I really wanted to ask is, you know, sometimes from your perspective of an offensive lineman, what effect does it have if the coach moves away from the running game too quickly, especially if you got a rookie quarterback? Can you talk about how establishing the run, and sometimes you're not going to have 8 yards or 10 yards, but just establishing the run kind of slows down the pass rush. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great point, and I'll kind of demonstrate it to you. Okay, like we always say, pass blocking is a passive movement, meaning you're going backwards and you're trying to block a guy that's coming at you. That's a passive movement. Run blocking, you going at a guy. You're attacking this guy. So that's an aggressive movement. So to me, like I say, anytime you can run the ball and run it successfully, it's going to help your offensive lineman because, one, it's going to put them in the mentality of we're attacking. We're going after these guys. 2, like I say, it's going to help you with run blocking. If you mess up a little bit in your technique, you can still overcome it and play, and have a decent run block on that particular play. If you don't do the correct things when you're pass blocking, you're going to get beat. It's hard to recover. Some guys can, but it's very, very hard to recover if you don't have the proper sets when you're pass blocking. So to me, run blocking, I hate to use the word easy when you talk about anything in the NFL, but run blocking is easier for an offensive lineman than the pass blocking. That's almost like the last thing to come, especially when you get to this level, the pro level. That's the hardest thing to learn how to do. So if they could run the ball a lot more, it would definitely not only help him, but it'll help the rest of that offensive line too.
Lo, when you look at, at the tackle position, we had a lot of guys that came out. The Browns have drafted guys that play right tackle, and they're trying to transition them to left tackle. How hard is that, and what is the qualities that you must have to be able to be successful to make that transition?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I did it in the Pro Bowl, playing left tackle, but in the Pro Bowl, you have to swing and do it. And it's hard. I'm telling you, man, it's hard, especially if you're used to playing on one side and then they're flipping you to another side. Like you said, these guys' right tackle position, you don't see the best pass rushers on the right side like you see on the left side. Now you have some guys that are flipped now, some defensive ends that flip and go over both tackles. But for the majority of it, your best defensive lineman is over your left tackle. So it's a whole different challenge than what you have. You're protecting the quarterback's blind side, which we know is the most important side to protect on the quarterback. And it's all about technique. It's more about technique on the left side than it is the right side. You got to have technique to play the right side too, but your technique is so important on that left side because of these natural pass rushers that you have to face each and every week over there on the left-hand side. So it's a big adjustment trying to go from right to left. A good example is Penei Sewell here in Detroit. He's had to flip and play both sides because of injuries. That was his natural side, the left side. So it's a little easier for him to flip to the left side coming from the right side. But if a guy hadn't played over there or he's been a right tackle most of his career and you're trying to move him to the left side, it's going to be an adjustment. It really is.
By the way, Lomas, the most important question here. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs on my fantasy team. Can we get these guys back on the field this week or what? Are they going to play, those two?
I know, man. I know Jahmyr Gibbs. I know he had a hamstring that kept him out that he got during the week of practice. And, so I think hopefully he's getting close to come back. And as we affectionately call Amon-Ra St. Brown, we call him the sun god here. The sun god, I think he's going to be close to getting back. He could have played. He could have played this game, but they just chose to rest him, which I thought was a good move.
We were talking about, while we were talking quarterbacks before, we were talking about Jared Goff, and it's fascinating because when he was with the Rams, like they went to the Super Bowl, and a lot of people felt like they got there in spite of him, and then he struggled after that. I've watched him a lot in Detroit, of course, because he's on my fantasy team, and I think he's played great since going to Detroit. Like borderline top 10, right on that edge of the top 10 quarterback. I mean, he seems really good right now. Are you a full believer in Jared Goff?
Hey, I call him the silent assassin. That's him, man. He don't say a lot. His attitude, his mood stays just the same. You can't tell whether we're winning or losing the game by looking at Jared because, like I say, he just stays even keeled all the time. But the guy's been playing phenomenal for us. He really has been. He's had an interception in these last 3 games, one in each game. But the thing about it, after each interception, he has bounced back and led a touchdown drive. And that's the thing that you like to see, how guys handle adversity, how guys bounce back from bad things happening to them. Jared has been awesome. I think he has earned a contract here. Like you said, he was kind of discarded from L.A., brought here. You know, people here in Detroit didn't know a lot about him. People were kind of standoffish. People called him a stopgap that he got here. And he could just continue to get better and better each and every year, each and every game. And now, if we lose Jared, our season is over with. That's how important he is to the Detroit Lions in this organization.
Yeah.
Lomas, back to the Browns' offensive line. And again, I know that you haven't seen every snap like we have. But there's been some talk that Jed's just not the guy. Now, the team picked up his fifth-year option, which is for next year, so he's due just shy of $15 million. It makes it almost impossible to. I know. I recognize that look. I know. We said the same thing. When they picked it up, Lomas, we were like, what are they doing? Now, here's the reality of the situation is that's where we are. He's going to be here.
Yeah.
You know that Bill Callahan is the guru of offensive lines.
Yes.
You also know that left tackles don't fall out of clouds. So what do they do in this situation where they know they've got a guy that is maybe not performing poorly, but on certain plays he's performing very poorly? How does that get fixed? Can that get fixed 5 weeks into the season?
Well, Jay, I think by them investing the money in him, they figured that it could get fixed. There's no way they would have picked up that fifth-year option if they thought he was a guy that he couldn't have success, a guy that Coach Callahan, which, like you said, he's one of the best ever to coach that position, that he couldn't turn around. Quick comment, Jay. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, his second year in the league, the Jets called me in. That's when Mangini, he was the head coach then. He called me in to work with DeBrickashaw. And I remember before I worked with DeBrickashaw, they called me in the office, him and the GM, and they were asking me, do you think this guy could play? We don't know. We have no idea if he could play or not. And my question was, yes, he has all the athletic talent. He has all the tools to be a very, very good player in this league. A lot of times, Jay, it's here.
Yeah.
It's here with a lot of those guys, too. You know what I'm saying? So he's a young guy that you have to nurture. You got the right coach to do it. And I'm telling you, Jay, just me looking at his feet, looking at some of the pass sets from what y'all sent me, he has quick feet. He has good enough feet to stay on the left-hand side of the stay at left tackle.
Right.
So I think it could be fixed, Jay. I really do. I think they can fix him. And don't forget, our offensive line is the sum of all the parts. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody got to be working like a hand in the glove for that play to work. If one guy not doing what he's supposed to be doing, that play's not going to work on the offensive side of the ball. So all of them are a sum of one. So they should be able to, I think, Jay, in my heart of hearts, I think they should be able to fix this young man. I really do. I really do.
I think that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
The one thing that's interesting, you said the hand and glove thing. Bitonio has been a perennial Pro Bowler. It's interesting that all of the guys on the line that have been pretty solid, all of their PFF grades, for whatever that's worth, it seems like everybody has taken a step back. And I'm going to get your thought on PFF grades in a second. But it seems like of their play is stepped back. And again, if a chain is as strong as its weakest link, it makes sense. Guys are having to switch over and help him with protections. And by proxy, they're weaker at their spot because of it. So it all makes perfect sense. What do you think of the PFF grades? Because we have discussed them ad nauseum on this show.
So, Jay, when did they become the telltale of how guys are? Who in the world decided, okay, PFF is going to be how guys get paid, how you grade a guy, how good a guy is? I'm trying to figure out who is PFF, who decided to make them kings of everything. Because every time you turn around, PFF says he's the number 1 tackle, or PFF says he's playing at this rate. I'm like, who the hell is PFF?
Well, here's
That's
what's
what
interesting.
I want to know.
We had one of their guys on, I think maybe last week or a couple weeks ago, and he said they've got 70 analysts or whatever. But here's my thing: if any of their people were truly great at what they're doing, they would be working for one of the 32 NFL
Thank
teams.
you.
I had a former
Thank
player that
you.
watched that segment that reached out to me and said, PFF is the only thing we have, okay? So we stick our teeth into it. But he played in the league for 12 years. He said, our coaches used to mock it. Our coaches used to say, what are they watching? Because we're grading these guys out at a much different level. I think there's some validity to it. But we can't.
What
use
else
it
are
as
we
a Bible.
supposed to use as fans and media?
Well, Lomas,
for offensive linemen, what else are we?
There's no other
Well,
stat.
well, look, for me, I get upset at our old show, our old network, ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
They get all like Orlovsky, and I know he's a former Lion, but this dude, he be on there trying to tell guys, yeah, if you're going to be a great quarterback, you got to do this, this, and this. Well, dude, you was never a great quarterback. How are you going to tell guys how to be a great quarterback? Man, that just kills me sometimes when I hear some of these guys on TV and these guys ain't never did anything in the league. How are you going to tell somebody how they supposed to be a great quarterback when you were never a great quarterback? It puzzles me. So back to PFF, Jay, if it was players in there, if their analysts were former players, I think I could have a lot more respect for it than it being a bunch of writers or whatever they use.
I think there are some former
I
players.
think Orlovsky.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
I think there. I don't know.
Oddly enough.
Yeah,
I know
right.
Bruce
He is.
I know Bruce Gradkowski is.
Okay, I was. You know what?
Bruce
To me, the
Gradkowski.
two were the same guy.
But
But you're right. Yeah,
but I
it's
think
Gradkowski.
but I did have one more question, Lomas. I'm fascinated by this because we've had Joe Thomas on the show, obviously another great left tackle like yourself.
Yes.
And Joe talked about when we talked to Joe, it seems like I don't know that he's ever actually said this. I don't think I've asked him this question. That's why I want to ask it to you. How important is the film study, the knowing, okay, I'm going up against this guy this week and Reggie White, and I know he likes to do this and he likes to do that, versus the actual practice on the field? What's more important? Like, how important? Because I feel like we as fans think, oh, it's all about the practice on the field. But the film study and knowing the traits and tendencies of the guys you're going against, is that even more important?
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, it's everybody's preference. For me, like, I couldn't learn on the board or in the film study. I had to take what they were telling me, and I had to go outside and I had to practice it for me to get it down. That's
Right.
how I was. You have some guys that are visual learners. Me, I had to go out there and actually do it to learn. I think it's a combination. I think you have to have both. You have to definitely know guys' tendencies, know what they want to do. If he's lined up in a 9 wide technique, I know he's going to try to dip and rush me to the outside. When he get in this 7 technique or this 5 technique on me, then I know he got 2 ways he could beat me, either inside or he could rip me and beat me back to the outside. So I better take a slight inside step to protect my inside and force him to go outside, because that's where I want him to go. So it's little things like that you pick up on. I just found out recently from talking to someone that talked to Richard Dent, and Dent, through his film study, when we used to play against each other, he knew when my head was down, he knew it was a run play coming at him.
Yeah.
And I swear to goodness, I wish somebody would have told me that. My Lord. I was wondering why this dude was so hard to block in the run play, but he had that little tendency from watching film on me. He knew when I had my head down, it was basically going to be a run
huge.
play. So
Yeah, a
That's
tell.
a huge
Yeah, it's
advantage to get
important.
something like that.
Hey, Lomas, we
Yeah.
got to run.
Yeah.
Before we do, McNuggets wanted to know why you call me Sugar.
Hey, that's the sweetest man I've ever known right there. Look, like you say, man, you know how sweet sugar is and stuff, man. how he dressed, how he carried himself. That man was pure sweetness right there. So I had to give him a nickname. And anything that goes with sweet is sugar. That's him.
Lomas, I can't tell you how great it is to see you again. And we'll talk
Thanks,
soon.
Lomas.
Thank you so much for coming
Anytime.
on.
Anytime, Jay. Anytime.
Thank you, my brother.
By the way, you know the show Ballers? Have you guys all watched the show
Yes,
Ballers?
yes.
You remember the character was the offensive lineman Charles Green?
Yeah.
I always think of
Yeah,
Lomas.
that's
I don't know
funny.
why. It's
I know,
something
that's
about
funny.
like he was a really good player. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching.
I
that
hope he
show
gets
and
in the Hall
enjoying
of Fame. I know he's up for it, and he's worthy. He really is. For the length of time he played, and I think
It's so
he's 7 or
hard
8
with
Pro
offensive
Bowls.
linemen.
Oh,
It's
18
so hard
years,
because
5
like
All-Pros,
we can
7
scoff at
Pro
PFF all we want. Like what else do we have to go by?
No, you're right. And
with offensive linemen, with quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Okay, there's other things.
yeah,
you
we
look
can
at,
see
but-
that, but most of us don't know what we're looking at when we look at the offensive line play.
Me and G. Bush is down right now.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah.
We got a lot to get to real quick,
Yeah,
guys.
the streets
is on
Before we
fire.
get-
Oh my
Before we
God.
get to some
Streets
comments
is
from
on fire.
Browns open locker room availability, I
This
want to
is
remind the
bad.
good people out there that the post-game show, myself, G. Bush, Earl is back, the 2-minute warning
is bad.
of the 49ers game this weekend. Good or bad, we will be live with you guys for some celebration and/or therapy, depending
Gee,
on how
I don't
it
think he'll
goes.
be smiling like that after the game.
She is very
We have
disappointed right now.
Now, I ain't
couple
gonna-
comments.
I'm not gonna be smiling like that after the game, and I gotta take the callers. this is
Well, speaking
what
of
I've been
Yeah,
seeing
you do.
on Twitter. It's
Speaking
bad.
of comments, callers, etc., we had a couple comments and tweets from Open Locker Room today that we want to share with you first. The first one, Anthony, give me DTR on learning.
This is terrible.
I don't want it to happen.
So this one comes from Hayden Grove. You can take
It'll
it
be
full,
okay,
Steve.
brother.
Terrible.
He tweeted out, and they spoke with DTR at his locker room availability. DTR said he truly had no idea he was going to make his first start
What are
against the
we
Ravens
doing?
until 10:30 a.m. on Sunday.
Well, when was he supposed to know? That's when.
What do you mean when you supposed to know?
He said no idea. That means that no one on Wednesday said, "Get ready, kid."
I think you guys are taking.
I don't know.
No. It's what I. It's
We
what-
didn't. You didn't know if Deshaun Watson was going to play until that
He knew
morning.
he was hurt.
So did he.
Get ready, kid. Get ready.
He didn't say he wasn't ready.
He said he had no idea. You would have some idea if they came to you on Wednesday and said, "Hey, look, kid,
No, you wouldn't.
your starter's
You
got
wouldn't
a
have
bruised
any
shoulder."
idea because you don't.
It might be you. That's an idea.
This is the way it
I'm
works.
sure
he-
No, this is the way it works.
I think you're.
No,
taking.
no,
You're
no,
misreading what he's saying.
Communication 101.
That's right.
Communication 101 is
Yeah.
you take any doubt, anything out of it. You say, listen, Wednesday coming on, DTR. Let me talk to you right quick. Sean has something with his shoulder. I need you to be dialed in.
That's exactly
mentally
right.
prepared.
There's no proof.
That's what coaches do.
I'm sure he said that.
But
G.
no. How do you know?
Well, how do you know he did?
You take
We got to take him at his
we
word.
take it to his word.
He said he didn't know if he was going to start because nobody knew.
No, he didn't say that. He said he had no idea.
Can you give him the tip again?
You're taking words and assuming they mean something that I doubt they
Oh,
mean.
what does
What
no
does no
idea
idea
mean?
mean?
All right, I'm just not going to argue with you on this. This is silly.
we got two more.
I think
It
it's
is
ridiculous.
silly. He's right.
I'm about to
He
listen
had
to
no
it.
idea
I'm
he
about
was
to
going to
listen.
start.
Right, because Deshaun Watson had to warm up. Of course he had an
listening to the
idea that he
mic?
could
Yeah,
start.
Okay.
Mary Kay just tweeted. I'm about to look.
Tell us what he says. Tell us what your thought is after that.
We cannot play the video.
Go ahead. We can't hear this.
Hold on,
Go
my
ahead.
God, McNuggets, you talking? Huh?
It's a great radio. Great TV.
Praying for it, wishing for it, and so for me to finally get it, I think was pretty special for me. I was just trying to set it all whatever the outcome is going to be. So I'm super happy.
He ain't say nothing. He ain't say nothing.
All right, next tweet comes from.
So it's not egregious to you.
He ain't say nothing crazy in that.
He just said he was happy.
I mean,
he got
because
to
we
play.
only saw the text. There's a lot of times I see text of something and think, wow,
this is just
that's
ridiculous.
terrible.
Like the Roquan Smith one,
Smith
yeah.
is a great example. And then you hear it, you're like, no, it's not really that damning.
Well,
That's why I
well,
wanted to
the
get his
one that
reaction. He's heard it. We have not.
Well, I mean, Tony Grossi said he visited Dorian Thompson-Robertson in the locker room. He's too young to hide his emotions. Says he had no idea if he's playing Saturday, Sundays.
How would he know
This
if he's
Sunday.
starting this Sunday or not?
Wait, was
The
that
decision
comment
hasn't
about
been made.
this Sunday
This-
or the Tennessee game?
So the one
Because he was talking
You guys
about
are taking the words
one-
"no idea." If
No,
that,
the one before that we just talked about was last week.
that's what I wanted
You
to
guys
say.
are taking the words
Grossi
"no
talking about
idea"
this Sunday.
Yeah.
and making that mean something when I don't think it meant anything.
But Bull, I know, but it's not a vague statement.
Jay.
If he would have said,
we have a much bigger one to get to.
Go ahead.
yes,
We're
let's play it.
honestly
No
partially
idea
over
is I had no idea.
So once
no
again,
idea.
we are obviously here. We're not in the locker room, so we can only take the tweets we see online. This next one comes from Hayden Grove, and this is about Deshaun Watson. Hayden tweeted, Deshaun Watson made a quick cameo in the locker room before leaving and was not lifting his right arm, favoring his left. We'll see if he's out at practice today.
I don't buy anything of that. I mean, if I walked into this room, am I not necessarily going to go like this at any point in the room?
That's a meaningless.
That, I think, is meaningless.
It was the only
And I like
Deshaun
Hayden.
Watson tweet that we had available. So
There was another Watson tweet.
I get it, but
if Jay were sick and he was deciding whether he was going to come in or not on Monday, and I said to G, I have no idea if I'm going to be in that seat or not until I know what Jay's going to do.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Bull, it's not.
That doesn't.
because-
Yes, it is.
Bull, you've done what I would do a million times.
Okay.
This is Dorian Thompson-Robinson's first and most important
That'd be like
start.
that'd be like if I got here.
So-
and they
So
said,
I just want my
Tyvis-
coach to come to him on Wednesday. And by the way, I'm being lenient when I say
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
They knew about this Sunday night.
He practiced Dorian
didn't do
Thompson
handoffs
Robinson
on Friday.
So what? But they all knew Watson might not play.
Bull.
He didn't. He told us he had no idea he was going to play.
Let me break this down to you.
they say-
If you are a younger player, Bull, if it was a veteran, you could put 2 and 2 together. Hey, Deshaun might not be playing. I'm 35 years old. Hold on, let me just give you this. Hold on. Before you just, like you just dismissed it. If you got a younger player who has never started before, the thing that you want to do is you want to go to them and reassure them a little bit so that they're mentally prepared to go out there and do something.
Of course they did that. That's absurd to think anything else.
But if he's telling you, so here's the tea leaves.
Yeah.
We look at the playbook. The playbook looks like it's Deshaun Watson. They come out in the locker room and everyone says they changed no plays.
It's a pop quiz.
They changed no plays.
Right.
So that's one burning fire. The other burning fire is the guy who he put out there says, I had no idea until 10:30 that I was going to be playing.
Again, we're gonna go through circles here.
let me
No
give you an
idea.
example,
He
though.
had no idea because he didn't know if Watson was going to be able to play or not.
So-
of course he had no idea.
Okay, so here's what I would want my quarterback to say in this situation.
He's a
In
rookie who's
please let
barely
me
talked,
finish.
Jay.
Please let me finish. In a functional organization,
Yeah.
here's what my backup quarterback says after that game. Well, Kevin came to me Sunday night and said, Deshaun took a really big hit to the shoulder, and we're going to get an MRI on it. We're going to see where he is. But here's what I need you to start doing right now, Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening. I need you to start your mindset that you're going to be the starter. You may not be.
You have no idea whether he did that or not. There's no way to know that.
Well, you just said no idea.
Yeah.
I do have an idea. The quarterback told me.
no, he
And
told
he
you.
used the same words you just used. No idea.
He said he had no idea if he was going to start. Doesn't mean he had no idea. It doesn't mean it came completely out of left field. That's
Well,
a big difference.
no
that would be,
idea
I had
is-
some idea. I had a clue I might
No.
start.
How would you have a clue? You didn't know if Watson. It wasn't going to be decided until Watson played.
I give up.
That never happens. Ever.
What
Bull.
never happens?
It never. When you talk to a coach tells your players they are massaging you through the week.
How do you? Of course they did that, G.
I wanted my quarterback to say today.
What does that have to do with
They
anything? you
came to
wanted
me
him
on
say?
Sunday. I practiced on Wednesday. I practiced
So-
on Thursday. They told me he's telling us he's going to play, but I want you to prepare like you're the starter.
But how do do know he didn't do that?
You're
There's
bending.
no way
hold
you
on,
know.
let's-
You don't
hold
know.
on.
He didn't say that.
Bull, you are
we don't
bending-
know. Just because he didn't say
you
that
are
means it didn't
bending
happen.
over backwards.
Yeah, to be an apologist for the
but
Browns.
to take a charge for Kevin Stefanski,
That's what
you
you're
don't
doing.
have to. You don't have to take
You're
the
making
charge.
something out of nothing. You're making something out of
Sure,
nothing.
it's nothing. The backup quarterback had no idea he was going to play
And then
until
we
that
say,
point.
and then I say,
totally
how do
nothing.
you know?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Well, the quarterback
You just
told
said
me.
it.
So Jay,
second soundbite we
you
have.
thought he?
Can I hear-
Because we
Jay,
got to
you-
move it forward.
you-
Well, we disagree.
I
You
gotta
thought-
get the true
so
and false
let me
to
just
get
ask you
the
this
belt
question.
back.
Let me ask you this question.
Got to recognize
Let me ask you this
when
question.
we're not going to come to common
Let me
ground
let me
and move
okay.
on.
Let me just ask you this question.
Okay, Bull.
So you think he was completely clueless in the morning of the Sunday. He thought there was zero chance he was going to play. Do you think? You're speculating
I
on
don't
everything.
think that.
Okay, so
I
then
can
what's the
only
problem?
go by what he told us. He told us I had no idea I was going to play.
How would he have an idea? It wasn't decided yet.
Because they could have told him Sunday night,
we got
get
some
ready.
super chats, guys. We got
One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Do it true or false.
Boom.
We got to read some
There
super
will be
chats.
no common ground here.
I just wanted to play
Let's
true
move
or
to the
false.
next topic, please.
We're going to do super chats real quick. We'll
That's how that works.
get off what DTR said. First super chat comes from Ronaldo Archer. Bruised rotator cuffs can take up to 6 months to heal completely. Shoulders will be extremely stiff, immobile, rigid, extremely painful to raise the arm above the shoulder. A bruised rotator cuff is a very, very serious injury. No mobility of the joint, extremely stiff.
So he
takes
threw.
about 6 months to completely
Who is
heal.
this from?
Ronaldo Archer.
Oh, well, if some
Who
random
is
guy
that?
on
What is
Twitter
his-
says that,
what
must-
is his-
Like,
it must
I
be
need his
true.
credentials.
Does he have background? Y'all want to say, does he
Like,
have
did
a
he have
medical
this injury?
background?
Is he a doctor?
You do not
he's-
have to submit your credentials to submit a super chat. So.
No, I know, but it gives it more credibility. If he's super fan, okay. If he's orthopedic surgeon at UH, then that means something to me.
Next
Otherwise,
one from James Cosby. Still talking GM in front office. Next one from Set Apart Laz. Hey, Bo, I like your haircut. You look like Fred Flintstone, LOL.
oh, that's not nice.
I actually like Bo's haircut.
I do too. I
Thank
He did
complimented
a really
you.
good
it.
job,
Thank
in all
you.
seriousness.
Maybe that wasn't. Well, I don't know.
I actually think it was supposed to be a compliment.
I do too, but
I don't think that was meant as a
It
shot.
could have been
I don't
without the
care.
Fred Flintstone part.
I don't care. I've been told I look like Fred Flintstone before. Doesn't bother me.
Matthew Dinkus says if Watson's out for the season, they need to do everything they can to trade for Kirk Cousins. Acid Brook
They
said
can't afford
Bull
it.
has been right. The past 2 weeks, Deshaun is 2-1. Our offense played great the last time he was on the field. We're 2-2, acting like we're 0-4. Everyone needs to calm down. Rated R
heard that
says,
before.
I would not bring Watson back till he's good because Jed Wills will end his season.
That's a
You guys are the most fire show, best in Cleveland. We appreciate it, Rated. And Debaser1990 says, Deshaun Watson will not practice today after aggravating his rotator cuff by picking up his wallet. So those are the super chats
Here we
today.
go with that. Okay. Are there other? You said I think there were other sound bites we should react to.
There was one from DPJ saying he's not sure who's going to throw him the ball this week. So there's just a lot of uncertainty. No one slipped up. No one said anything definitive one way or the either.
Yeah, I don't look at that as being controversial at all. No idea who's going to throw the ball to me this week. His preparation is going to be the same. So I don't think that's egregious on management. And guess what? A lot of teams prepare for games where they're not sure who's going to be at what position until 1 o'clock on Sunday.
right.
But this isn't a lot of situations. This is a first-time starter, rookie in the NFL. It's different. And in my view, I think Cleveland should have started getting him ready Sunday night when I'm sure they were already aware that Deshaun
And
had
again, you're
sore
saying that
shoulder.
as if they didn't.
You're right, because we don't know.
don't
The
know.
only thing we know is what the quarterback himself has told
Well, I
us.
mean, listen,
yeah, and
listen.
you're reading into what he said.
Oh, no, I take that back. I take that back.
Yeah.
Because the coach told us also that he thought that Deshaun was going to play.
At the end of the day, both of y'all are right on this. Like it's not that he 1,000% didn't know that it was a possibility that he wasn't going to be the starter. I mean, he threw to the ones all week.
Exactly.
He took the one reps
Exactly.
throwing the
So
ball.
they were preparing
So he
him
was
all week.
working with it. In their eyes, they felt he's getting some work with the ones. He'll get some chemistry through this.
Right.
The problem that occurs is that the game plan didn't change. That's where
That's the decision that it's
That's
tough to make,
where
though,
everything
Ty,
is
because
bad.
you basically you're all in when you change the game plan. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And so I will cut the Browns some slack on this. They didn't know that they weren't all in until Sunday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to even blame Deshaun Watson for that because Deshaun was doing what players do. Let me get the shot, wake up Sunday, and see how I feel.
Man, one time I was working in corporate America, Tyvis, they said, listen, I sent an email, and I actually sent an email to the wrong person. And they called me in the office and was like, listen, in management, you manage a bunch of new people. You got to be really conscious of how you do your messaging.
Was the email you sent to the wrong person about the recipient?
I had just
Because that happens a lot.
I sent an email to like one of the executives, and it was the wrong executive group.
Okay.
And they were like, listen, you don't wanna have a messaging issue because now people are going to look to see if this is a pattern from you.
Oh, I see where you're going.
You
with
see what
this.
I'm saying?
I see exactly
So you
where you're going
don't.
with this.
It wasn't nothing bad this time, but if you
Right.
type it fast, and We just want you to slow down. And you know what? That thing came back to roost again because there was times where I had to send something to somebody and I sent it to another person on accident. And they said, remember what I told you to even when somebody tells you, hurry up and give me that report today.
Speaking of reports, Zach Jackson just tweeted out Deshaun Watson will not practice today per the team's Wednesday practice pre-availability report.
We kind of were leaning that way, weren't we? What was the piece of information we had to start the show where we said, it doesn't sound like he's going to go?
Yeah, everybody's got it now.
I think it was a speculative report. That he
I'm assuming. I think you have to assume at this point he's not going to play.
I agree with that. Listen, let's err on that side of caution.
Yeah, I mean, you got it.
And then if he can play miraculously Sunday, I still feel okay. He's a veteran.
And just to finish, to finish the story really quickly, when you look at this situation, this is all about messaging. When your subordinates come out and say different things like that, that means they're unsure of what's going on, how you moving with it. You put that on top of deep. I don't know who's throwing me the football. Messaging is important.
And you
it's
know
just
why that's
not the X's and O's.
And here's why this isn't strike one. The quarterback said after game 2 or 3, we've got a communication issue here. So it's becoming a problem. You're miscommunicating on injuries.
And it ain't big. It's a little small stuff.
Who said
there's a communication issue?
Deshaun Watson. I think it was it after game 2 or game 3?
It was after Pittsburgh.
Oh, you're right. It was after Pittsburgh.
What did he say? I don't remember that.
He said
someone asked him why the offense wasn't seeming to be clicking yet.
Yeah.
And he said there's just a communication.
We talked about it on the show.
Oh, right,
we're not on the same show. When I think maybe we should be going for it on 4th down,
he was talking about him and the receivers, wasn't he?
No, and he also talked about Stefanski. He said specifically talking about 4th downs, like, are we going to go for it on this 4th down? There's some because a lot of times a quarterback, we think that those decisions are made in a vacuum on 3rd down. A lot of times, particularly now with analytics, they have a yellow zone on the field, and what the yellow zone is, that's a zone that they're going to go for it on 4th down. And I think what Deshaun Watson was saying, because he specifically used that as an example, I think what he was saying is we don't have a clear-cut parameter yellow zone where we're going to go for it on 4th down. And that's something that as a quarterback, you would love to know on 1st down of that series. Am I right?
Yes. You want to know, and messaging is huge because you don't want to put it in a situation where now it's Deshaun Watson versus everybody else. Now you start to see, I looked on the thing, Hanford Dixon says, hey, you got to go out there and play. You got to show me something, right? These are former players.
But that's dangerous too.
It's dangerous because the organization is supposed to protect you from that.
And he's in that spot for one reason, because his coach said he was going to play last Sunday, and his general manager said he's going to play next Sunday. So I can understand why a former player like Hanford Dixon, who would play with his liver hanging out of his body, I can understand why a guy like that would say, oh, no, dog, you got to go. That's because the messaging from the coach and the general manager.
When did the coach say he was going to play?
Kevin Stefanski said after the game that it was his decision not to play.
Right, but he didn't say he wasn't going to play.
But he also said it was medically cleared to play, too.
Yes,
what I'm saying is he was medically cleared to play.
He was good to go. So that information should never have been published. Never.
In that case, he put Deshaun Watson in a bad spot.
And so has his general manager.
But listen, we got other injuries to talk about also.
There's chinks in the armor.
Other injuries to deal with. Not practicing today, Joel Bitonio, Myles Garrett, and David Njoku. Now, Myles Garrett did practice Monday. He usually gets Wednesday off, so it might not mean anything with him.
Does he usually take Wednesday off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, that means nothing to me.
But Bitonio and Njoku not practicing.
That's
The
trouble.
Bitonio one is interesting because he was on crutches, supposedly getting out of the locker room
I thought
in the last game.
Postage got a chest injury and a knee injury.
And was on crutches.
Njoku posted a video on his Instagram yesterday of him working out, like catching passes and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to, assuming never ends well, I think
he
there's
have
a
a
pretty
helmet
good
on?
chance. Yeah, well, his face was emojied out.
Well, the reason I ask that is because I wonder, with burn victims, obviously it's very painful to have any friction on that while it's healing.
Yeah.
Imagine putting your helmet on. I don't know where the burns are.
He played through it.
I know he did, which is really a testament to him. However, those burns heal and are in different stages. For anybody that's had a bruise, like a scrape, you know that it hurts a lot more once it's scabbing up and it's touched. It's almost like you're ripping that wound open again. And I don't know where we are with him.
Tyvis, you've been in the locker rooms, with good locker rooms, bad locker rooms, and all over the spectrum. Is this I ain't been in there, we ain't been in. Is this an issue moving forward, or is it just nothing? We making a bunch out of nothing.
Talking about the Deshaun Watson stuff?
Yeah, is this nothing?
So usually when you in the locker room like this and something of that magnitude happens, the word has spread around about what the situation is with the quarterback. The only thing that's alarming is when DTR says, I know as much as you guys know. Like, that's like, you're the backup quarterback, how don't you know?
No, he didn't say that, did he?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
he did.
I know as much as you guys know?
It came out after, literally 2 minutes ago as we just finished.
Oh, okay, then I'm even more dug in on the no idea.
So, but
He can't know as much as we know. He's got to know a lot more than that.
well, yeah. So that's the only concerning part about it. But,
Okay, that's the biggest red flag that's come out of today.
Yeah, like,
for me,
that's very,
is that comment.
What was the question, by the way?
It was something. Mary Kay had tweeted the video of him talking, and
I think they took it down.
No,
CCP
Oh,
done pulled
they
that
did
thing.
take it down.
They took
They
that
did
down.
take it down.
They.
Mary Kay tweeted it. It's no longer a Mary Kay.
And it's not. I looked out. I tried to get it from.
Now that's
Hayden.
not good.
I tried to get it
I'm
from.
telling
Hayden,
you
and
guys,
they took that down.
I'm complaining about the free media where, like, news conference is what? For public information and consumption.
Yeah.
We can't show Browns news conferences.
Yeah.
There's a problem with that. The other problem is when
it's still
beat
right there.
reporters
It's still there.
are
Still
there.
Okay, good, because I know Mary Kay would not pull something like that down.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
It was at the beginning.
Where did you get that information that she pulled that down?
I thought I saw her tweet it earlier.
yeah,
I
I
back
thought
to her
it
page.
was-
No,
just
that
delete
Mary
it.
Kay would never do that.
What was the question? Do you know? Is he
Ask
starting
quarterback
this week?
DTR if he has any idea who will start versus if Deshaun Watson can't play.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, I just it is messaging. To your point, it's communication. It's gotta be
DTR
better.
should not have said that too.
Bull, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he should have
I
said
couldn't
that.
agree with that
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
However,
Yes, he should
what
have.
he did was he pulled back the curtain
Yeah, that's
on an
not
internal
good.
problem. And Stefanski did the same thing, by the way.
It's just
When he said,
Mary Kay did not take it down, but that was my
no,
opinion.
we figured that out already. There's
sorry,
no
sorry.
way in ever that Mary Kay would do that.
The quote
I did-
was
the-
from Hayden, which is what I saw.
the communication-
And it just wasn't the same
Yeah,
account
yeah,
that tweeted
yeah.
both.
Okay.
the communication that's going on is not great there. They need to like
They
I don't
have
don't
done-
know why you at some point you just, which is Wednesday. Obviously, this is the beginning of the week. Monday is an extra day after a bye week, so you just try to get guys back in shape. As of today, the game plan has to go into DTR starting. Like, you can't,
or
if
PJ.
if,
can't-
if
you can't
he's
make that
starting,
mistake. No,
depending on what
if-
they're doing.
If Watson's not playing, you got to just go out and now.
Well, there was a report yesterday
boom.
that it might be
No,
PJ Walker.
right now, whatever.
Yeah, instead of
we
DTR.
need
Whoever
to
it is-
lock in who's
whoever it is.
starter.
And I think if those reports are right, it's PJ Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bottom line
Like,
is
you got to get him ready to play.
the bottom line is in general over the last week.
the communications.
Even though I disagree with your guys' take on that one specific thing,
Even after this
on that
pylon
one
bite,
specific thing, I don't think DTR knows what the hell he's talking. Like I don't think those words meant anything. But overall, in the big picture, despite the unfair accusations of being an apologist for the Browns, which was absurd and out of line,
sounds like to me.
I said you was better over back.
you guys know me better to know I'm not an apologist. for the
Well,
Browns.
that's why I said
I give
it.
my
my
opinion.
goodness.
You
I give
rarely
my
ever
honest
do
opinion
that.
on everything.
been
And
that
that-
You've been the positive light in the room.
I know that, but I've been critical of the whole communication outside of that one comment. I think that was nothing.
Oh, my
but
goodness.
the whole scope between what Stefanski said after the game on Monday, what Andrew Berry said Wednesday, to DTR sounding like ridiculous this
Throw
week.
in there Friday, Deshaun Watson telling reporters
It's all bad.
That he
and
was
they
gonna play.
seem like it seems like everybody's just doing their own
it's
thing.
run amok. You're
and
right.
That's not good.
And that's my
Yeah.
point, Bull. That's my point. He did shine a light on the internal problem, and he's wrong for that. Stefanski was actually wrong for that. That's why we were so critical of him on Tuesday. That's not who he is. Everything he says is thought through.
I don't know what they're doing
and
right now.
intelligent. And for him to go out there and say that puts external pressure on Deshaun Watson and makes him look weak.
And if they get killed this week, which they're going to, if one of these guys besides Watson plays,
Right.
we got to start having a serious conversation about Stefanski getting fired. I think that's
and by the
fair.
way, hold on, I got to say this. Listen.
Yeah.
If you took offense that you thought
I didn't really take offense. I was just surprised.
It wasn't you. I was the one that said Brown's
I'm
apology.
just but
I don't get offended, but I was surprised. I was surprised.
Hold on.
Yeah.
if I'm not going at your character, and I know
Don't
I know how
apologize.
you speak.
I love you.
So
I love you. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not offended at all.
You know,
I love
I
you.
do.
Go ahead.
Real quick, we're going through 2 minutes on this because we only have 2 minutes left. I got woken up last night at a text from G. Bush.
Oh
in
yeah.
the morning.
I gotta find out about this.
Let's show the text real quick.
At 3:08.
308.
Yeah, G.
my
Bush
God.
texted me. Quote, and G, I'm dry snitching, but you didn't say anything bad.
No, you're full snitching.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to text you earlier tonight. I didn't watch much, but to say, Amani freaking Bates. G, you got 2 minutes. Amani, 10 points in his preseason debut.
Hey,
The
listen,
floor is
Amani
yours.
Bates, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Listen, hey, you. By the way, Cleveland, get excited. See, Kool-Aid ain't just for football players. That Kool-Aid comes out for the Cavaliers, and Amani Bates comes into the
my
game.
God.
Mike, I love the way
how skinny he
I
is.
love the way he came in and swung the ball. It looked like somebody had told him, "You ain't got to touch the ball every time and shoot it."
How many
he
assists
swung
did
the
he fin-
rotation.
did he finish with?
Hey,
Goose
playing
egg.
good defense. Good defense. He did foul a
He
three-point shooter.
shot a tough shot at
But
the
guess
end.
what? That boy on that, listen, the transition, secondary transition,
ain't
him
scared-
floating to that
he
corner,
ain't scared of the
money
moment.
bags, and then
He ain't scared of
you
the moment.
see what happened. They gave him that ball, and you looked around, and everybody was like, "Oh, we done seen this before." Darius Garland gets on his feet. Ha, ha. Evan Mobley's like, "That's that boy," and you know he going to the step back. Ha, ha. that creation.
It's all starting already.
One question.
Preseason.
Is he definitively better than Josh Allen?
I know I've won Jay over on the preseason doesn't matter thing.
No,
You're
listen,
with me now on that.
Listen,
Monty
I will
Bates.
admit that I never put much stock in it, but I put some in it. I'm putting less in it now.
Yeah.
McNuggets, you know he looked good.
I wanna hear-
McNuggets, he wasn't playing hero
Wait a
And
minute.
ball.
the step back jump shot to put him in the lead was good. Overall,
Jay ducked
he
me on
made
true or
shots, but they
false.
shot 48 threes as a team.
Jay ducked me on true or false.
Never got to it.
He never got to it.
It was too much.